Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Oh, baby, let's do it. What's this? Oh, baby.
It's a bad idea.
Reese, you think we're tempting fate?
Yeah, for the past week, we've started our show same. Now, today, we want to mess things up.
Oh, no.
Bad move, gentlemen.
Give us a little more. Give me a little more. Oh, come on. Reese is so uncomfortable with all of this. Oh, baby. Yeah, Tony died at the end. I mean, I hate to break it to you, but he died. I mean, you play that song, he died at the end. The Blue Jackets are not going to die. You got to keep the faith, Reese. Where's your faith? Don't stop believing.
It's not that I don't have faith.
Look how far we've come.
I'm just saying, since the update anchor gave you the proper rundown of what's happened, they've doubled the Blue Jackets playoff odds since Saturday. They've doubled almost every single day.
That's right, yeah.
And tonight you don't have a game. So tonight you control nothing if you're the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
You had control of your fate last night, and boy, did you handle business.
I think that's why you got to play Don't Stop Believing, because this is all about belief. This is all about faith and belief tonight.
A lot of luck.
You gotta have faith and belief. I mean, this is kismet. This is magic. This is everything that it was supposed to be. I mean, come on here, boys. You got.
This wasn't supposed to be though.
It's funny. We did the show meeting with Fish at, it's 8:30 as we always do on a Wednesday, and we're talking to him, and I'm thinking to myself, we're talking about riding the wave of the Blue Jackets and all this stuff, and this is as fun as can be. And my God, if they get in, it'll be even better. And those of us who know what that's like around here, it's unbelievable when they get in. It's so cool when they get in, and we've really had such limited experiences with it. But when it happens, it's magic, and it grabs the city by the throat. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, hell, Shelley and I did an episode of Shelley Time last week where we did a post-mortem. It was done. They had a 0.08 chance last week. And now here we are. Bake, the other thing that jumped out to me, I remember a month ago when we were talking about this, and you said 89 points. I remember it. I remember you saying 89 points, and that's the number, buddy.
And that was the pace that Montreal was on at the time, and then Montreal jumped ahead of that pace a little bit, and now we know that they have come back. And listen, I'm as skeptical. I'm a skeptical fan as anyone, as negative as they come. I've been a Browns fan, a Reds fan, a Blue Jackets fan for as long as they've been around. I'm used to having my heart broke. Bo, you heard me a couple weeks ago say that this was going to come down to the last game, and somehow we would get the cup check. We would get kicked right in the groin. And the only reason I'm not being like Reese right now is I feel like this team is playing with house money.
I think you're running around without your pants on.
Yes.
I think you're so damn excited you don't even have pants at this point.
Yes, I'm watching a Carolina who has called up 4 guys from Charlotte, their AHL team, to play in this game tonight. And I'm watching a Carolina-Montreal game on a Wednesday night tonight, and I am going to be alone in my house screaming at the TV, guaranteed.
It's going to be so nervy at the Bell Center.
So there's a lot to this, right? And did you guys see this story that there's a debate tonight in Canada that was moved up?
They moved it to 6.
They moved it to 6 so it wouldn't interfere with the Canadian, because they're at home, right? They were at home last time out when they tried to clinch, and they're at home tonight against Carolina trying to clinch. So if you're just catching up on this, you're jumping on the bandwagon. Here's kind of where we're at. The Blue Jackets, because of a win last night, 3-0 win against the Flyers, and we'll get into more about the specifics of that and all the magic that's come with all of this. But because of this, 15% chance. Is that what I heard you say? Is that where we're at?
15.6.
Yeah. So in simplest terms, what you need is for the Montreal Canadiens, who host the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, to just lose in regulation. If they lose in regulation and you win tomorrow at home against the Isle in regulation, you're in. That's it. I mean, you think back a couple of weeks and think about all of the machinations we had to come up with to get to a point to where they're in. Well, now here you are. It's that. You have Montreal playing at home tonight against a Carolina team that, as Bake said, basically brought up every kid in their system to try and play because they're resting. They don't, it's nothing for them. But I think you saw last night, it was nothing for that Flyers team either, and they came out ready to go in the first, and Jet Greaves said, I'm going to hold up until we find our game, and then we found our game, and away you went. So, here's the deal. These are all professional athletes, and if you're one of the young guys who were called up by Carolina tonight in Montreal, you're playing in one of hockey's cathedrals. You're playing the role of spoiler. The hockey world will be watching you, trying to spoil it for them. There's value in that. So I don't think that that's manufactured or that's wishful thinking on my part. I think you're going to get a hell of an effort out of Carolina, and the point Reese just made is a real one. We've said many times in regard to Buckeye football around here that when the Buckeyes are at home and it starts to go bad, the place caves in on itself. There's a nervous energy. There's an eerie silence. I mean, we saw it this year in the Michigan game. It's like, what is going on? And you start to hear the whispers, and the silence becomes deafening. That will be times 1 billion tonight in Montreal. If Carolina starts fast, you will have an entire province turning on a team quickly, and the nerves will be real. If Carolina starts fast, I think you will see nervy play out of the Canadians. I think their fans will be nervy. It just means so much for them, just as it does for the diehards here. But when you say don't stop believing, we went with that to start. You got to have a little belief. I mean, there is nothing that has happened this season that hasn't been just short of miraculous, quite honestly, if you think about all of it. And so why not one more? Why not one more? Why not one more night? Why not give this team a chance to play on home ice in front of their fans in a win and you're in scenario? If that happens, I wouldn't bet against Union Blue for anything. They're not losing that game. Not losing it. So you get a little puck luck tonight. We're all the biggest Hurricane fans in the world. But you'd be silly not to have a little bit of belief right now, would you not? I mean, this is so improbable, fellas.
You have to. I don't know how you can't. I guess I do know how you can't because of the cynical fan in me, because you've seen this before, because it never works out for this team, for this franchise, for this city. You're right. There is no fun in that. And this has been a lot of fun. And again, remember, the CBJ before the season, their over-under point total was 68.5. Nobody believed in this team coming into the year. And listen, you lost your best player, one of the stars in hockey, to a tragedy right before training camp starts. You don't know his best friend who signed to play with him. You don't know how he's going to react. You don't know how that's going to affect him. You don't know how it's going to affect these players. We know when the Blue Jackets a few years ago lost Matisse Kivlenieks, how much that affected Elvis Merzlikins. It was his best friend. He saw it happen. And I think it probably still affects Elvis to this day. So you had no clue. But this ride has been fun. It's been ups and downs. It's been a roller coaster. But I know me personally, I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I know it's going to be disappointing to me if they don't make it, because when you're so close, we're greedy, we want it. But God, this has been fun, and we need these next 2 days to be fun.
Even as you're watching the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Montreal Canadiens tonight, I at least think for me there's going to be a sense of what's to come for this team, and not just tomorrow night, but every time the Jackets scored last night, it was to set or it was to match a franchise mark. Adam Fantilli with 30 goals, points by Zach Werenski, goals scored by this franchise in a season. This is all points that this franchise has never done before. The Jackets are about to tie and then eclipse come Thursday night, because I don't think there's anybody in that locker room that's going to want to take Thursday off regardless of what happens tonight, because I think you just want to keep playing. And I think that was the thing to start the season. As Baker mentioned, the tragedy with the Goudreaus, they just wanted to keep playing for the memory of the Goudreau brothers. And that's what's pushed this to where we're looking at the last game of the season, or the night before the last game of the season, watching Carolina and Montreal.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be fun. It's going to be nervy. It's going to be anxious, but it's going to be fun. And you'll be paying attention to a game between the Canadiens and Hurricanes tonight, the likes of which you never have previously. So that's part of being in the thick of this thing, and it's nice to get back to the party. We're loaded up today. Dalton Wasserman, PFF College, going to join us at 9:30. We are 8 days for the NFL draft. We'll go over some of his favorite players in the draft. Jake Trotter at 10:30. The transfer portal is open. We'll let you know some of the guys who are in, some of the guys who are out. We will hit a little Hey Guys. It is a first Friday. Get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas. We will answer those coming up at 11 o'clock. And then at 11:30, Aaron Portzline's been on this beat from the beginning with the Blue Jackets, and he will join us with perspective on how this has all happened in the last week. Speaking of the Jackets, it's a hell of a thing that happened last night. When you think about the stars of it and what allowed for it to happen, one, in a spot where you draft him, you expect, and another one you never could have. It's part of the magic that this run has been. We'll get into that coming up next. We're off and running. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic. Oh, yes. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay, moving up payday so you could get your money faster, up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free Healthy Leg Screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
If you're like most Americans, you've racked up tens of thousands in credit card debt. You're stuck with 20% interest fees, and even the monthly payments, well, they're hard to make. It's insane. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. The good news is that there is a way out. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending. They specialize in fast, easy access to the equity in your home. Most homeowners have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their home equity. That's your money. AFLcash.com can get it out for you with zero junk fees and zero hassle. You can pay off all those credit cards in just a matter of days. Pay off your car loans too. Cut your monthly expenses by $800 or even $900. I'm telling you, the relief you need, well, it's right there at your fingertips. AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Break out of the credit card debt prison with AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
All of our local shows have been ranked in the top 10 in the country by our industry peers, except for Timmy Hall and the Buckeye Show. I was going to make a joke about it, but it's more sad than anything. Poor Timmy, the Fan.
Help DEA keep our community safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take Back Day, Saturday, April 26th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at deatakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's deatakeback.com.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Great weather this afternoon as sunshine continues across the region. Temperatures in the mid-50s will drop to near freezing by early Thursday as frosty conditions are expected under clear skies. Mid-60s Thursday afternoon. Small rain chance Thursday night. Dry during the day Friday. High near 80. Shower and storm chances return into the weekend. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, here's where you're at. Montreal Canadiens lose tonight at home to Carolina, and you win tomorrow night in regulation against the Islanders, and you are in the fight for Lord Stanley. That's it. That's the list. That's all of it. You're the last team standing in the East. That's it. Last night was pretty special. It's 0-0 through 1. You get a little bit nervy, and the reason that it was 0-0, and the reason, quite honestly, that they're in this spot, one of the main reasons has been the play of Jet Greaves. This is pretty remarkable. He was recalled on April 10th. Since that time, he is 4-0 with a .976 save percentage and a .75 goals against. You are simply put not here without him. He's the one that you didn't see coming. He's the wrinkle in this thing you had no clue was going to pay off to this level. And it's house money in a sense. And I talked to Jody about this yesterday with Shelley Time. Like the way he's playing, and I know, Bake, you've brought this up a couple of weeks ago, like the way he's playing, maybe what took so long? And then also, like, is this just a guy hot, or is there more here than maybe even the Jackets thought?
Yeah, they're great questions because Jet Greaves has been called up at different points over the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And outside of a game or two, it's never looked like this is too much for him. People have said maybe he's not athletic enough, maybe he's not big enough. He's 6 foot. A lot of goaltenders now are 6'3", 6'4". We know sure. Daniil Tarasov is a guy that's 6'5" in there. He's only 6 foot 190. Maybe it's not good enough, but man, it sure seems like his play. He's positionally sound. It doesn't seem like his heart rate ever gets over 80 because he seems cool and calm in there at all times. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but he never gets too far out of the net like we've seen some of these guys do at times. He's always in the right spot. And you have to think, like, does this kid have a future as a number one?
That's why I asked Jody that. Like, because I think you remember, we were talking about this, Reese, with the quarterbacks the other day, right? Like, Ryan Day's going to have that in his head of Julian saying in front of 40,000 plus people going lights out right away. And you can't erase it from your memory. If you're Dean Evison and you're Don Waddell, how do you erase what Greaves has done from your memory? You're going to remember this. These are all must-wins. They had to win them all.
Yeah, the last, they're on a 5-game winning streak, and the performances that he's put on in must-win situations where there's been an immense amount of pressure on a guy that you had hoped would have done this a little earlier, but the fact that he's doing that now gives you, along with the way the rest of the guys are playing, great expectations going into next year. It's like, all right, Jet, we've seen it now. This is the expectation for him.
I think this is absurd play. I mean, he's the NHL's first star in the whole league. I mean, like, nobody saw this coming, this level of play. He was available yesterday after another great performance. Honestly, last night was maybe one, I mean, they've all been great, but, like, the Flyers came ready. They were there to spoil, and he held firm in the first until the Jackets kind of found their way. Here's Greaves' postgame on the praise for the teammates as part of his success.
I think the guys are just playing great. I mean, they're doing a great job in front of me, making my job pretty simple. So I think it's been a team effort. Obviously, it's an important time of the year. These games matter a lot, but I think all the guys just doing a really good job in front of the net, boxing out, clearing away secondary plays, obviously spending a lot of time in the offensive zone, scoring a lot of goals. I mean, I could go on and on. They're doing a great job.
Obviously, making Lord Stanley's chase for the cup would be a big part of it. Here's Greaves on what that would mean.
Yeah, it'd be so fun. It'd be so fun. I mean, you obviously want to, that's why you play, is to get in the playoffs and try to win championships at the end of the day. So that's obviously always the goal. And obviously this group's been through a lot this year, and just a group that's never given up, never doubted themselves, or doubted ourselves one time, and just been so much belief in this locker room. So it'd be great to keep that going and hopefully get into the playoffs.
So Greaves is the one that maybe you didn't see coming. The other one is one that you did see coming, but maybe not this soon. Adam Fantilli has 5 goals in the last 3 games. He now has 30 goals on the season. He's the youngest player in Columbus Blue Jackets history to get 30, with the exception of Rick Nash. So it's Nash and him. And when you're in that category, then that's some pretty heady stuff. The Jackets now have 2 30-goal scorers on the season. Marchenko's been at 31 for a while. And then Fantilli, who went from 25 to 30 in 3 games. It's the first time since 15-16 with Brandon Saad and Jenner, Boone, when you had 2 30-goal scores. So this is all heavy stuff. Fantilli getting here this quick is a remarkable thing. It's made even more remarkable by the fact that he went to the funeral of his grandfather, who was a Flyers fan. This is an incredible part of this story. Went to the funeral of his grandfather, who was a Flyers fan, and then came back and had that performance last night, which just tacks on a series of performances for him. Here's Fantilli, the face of the franchise, more likely than not, along with Werenski going forward on his 30th goal, and that was for his grandpa.
Yesterday, I flew back to Toronto, and I buried my grandfather, and his favorite team was Philly. It's going to sound like I'm joking when I say that, but I swear his favorite team was Philly, and coming back, I'm pretty sure that one was him, just giving me a lucky bounce there.
I mean, that's just awesome. And Fantilli's been such a big part of this run. We mentioned the hit in the game on Saturday on Leonard. Here is Fantilli on this run and how exciting it's been.
It's awesome. I mean, a couple games we dropped we weren't happy about, and we knew a lot of things had to happen for us to make the playoffs, and we're just trying to do our part, and we're doing a great job of it. We've had great goaltending stepping up. Everybody's been playing great, so we're in desperation mode. We've been in desperation mode for the last however many games. I mean, and the last, 3 have been do-or-die games, and 4 have been do-or-die games, and we've done a great job, and we're trying to play desperate right from the puck drop, and I think we're doing a good job of it.
I'll tell you what, if they get in, no one's going to want to play them. The way that they've accomplished this has been remarkable. Here's Dean Evison on that.
Just playing hockey, preparing the same way. You guys they just want to play. They want to, obviously, we want to play longer, and they're just playing hard and preparing properly and getting ready to go, and got one more to do it.
Do you believe in sports kismet? Do you believe? I mean, that's kind of it. Like this was last week a it was 0.08 last week when Jody and I did Shelley time, and we said, okay, like, how did this happen? How'd they blow it? And we looked at March, and you looked at me, okay, like, I get it. But I don't know. You can't help but believe a little bit. I mean, you think about everything the organization has been through. You think about not just this year, which is a tragedy of all tragedies, but you think about previous tragedy. You think about the failures to build something sustainable, and whatever happens in the next 48 hours, what is built here is very sustainable and will be. Adam Fantilli's a superstar. That's what he is. Zach Werenski's a superstar. Like Kent Johnson is an all-star player. I mean, you have incredible depth of talent that is coming in a very, very big, and is already here. I mean, they're ahead of schedule. Adam Fantilli, nobody thought Fantilli would be this good. He's 20. He's 20 years old. Like, he's so far statistically, he's been better than Bedard, who is a generational player, and he's lapped him in year 2. So all of these things are coming. All of these things are sustainable. But if you believe, I think, a little bit in just hockey gods and puck luck and all of that craziness, it's hard to imagine a scenario where they don't get in. And maybe I'm Charlie Brown setting up for Lucy holding the football, and that's fine. But at least for today and heading into the game tonight, that's going to be my belief heading into it.
Bo, let me give you a stat here that helps you believe in that a little more. Since 2021, this is from one of our listeners on the YouTube. Since 2021, Montreal is 1-9-1 against Carolina.
Let's go, baby.
Now, I know it's different tonight, obviously, but in the whole sports kismet thing, it's hard. not to believe in that right now, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's also a part here where the Jackets, their backs were against the wall, right? They were in such a good position, and it got too hot for them. They were gripping their sticks a little too tight. Then it got to a point where, hey, guys, we got nothing to lose, right? And maybe that freed this team up in their mind a little bit. Like, we've just got to go, right? There's nowhere, we don't have a choice. It's either we win or not. Let's leave it all on the ice. And maybe that has just freed up this team in their minds a little bit and just let them play hockey. It's also, Bo, we talked about this. There was a couple games there where you're like, man, if you could just get a save. Mm-hmm. If we could just get a save in this moment, maybe things could change. They're getting those saves right now.
Well, I mean, with the sports, Kismet? I mean, that Marchenko pass to Fantilli's skate that secured that third and final goal last night. If you don't believe like there's something more to this, I think that was the perfect encapsulation of this run. This season, really. Like, yeah, Marchenko put it on Fantilli, but it hit his skate and went in.
Yeah. So much more on this as we go along. Porty's going to join us at 11:30, and we'll continue to believe, because it's a hell of a ride when you're in the middle of it. All right, 2 minutes from now, the NFL draft is 8 days from today. Dalton Wasserman, PFF, with his mock draft. What does he think is going to happen at the top, and what do you think should happen at the top? That's in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Men over 40, struggling with low energy, not feeling like yourself. Low T Center's testosterone replacement therapy is the solution. Get started today. Visit one of their conveniently located clinics, meet a medical provider, and get back to feeling your best. This April only, the consultation is free. Treatment is tailor-made just for you, and it's covered by most major insurance. Get treated at one of the Low T Centers or from home. Why wait? Book your appointment now at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
And here's what's up on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. NFL Draft is 8 days from today. First round, a week from Thursday. From perspective on this, we're joined by our good buddy Dalton Wasserman, college football draft analyst at PFF, and he joins on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I've been asking this of all the guys who do what you do, the draft analyst stuff. Is there a point in the draft process, the pre-draft process, where you shut off the information in terms of, I've made my decision on these prospects, I don't need to be influenced by anything I hear, by media or by teams or by anything. I believe in what I see with these prospects. I ask, Dalton, because we've had really no football played since January, and yet you see these wide array of opinion on these players. Where do you come down on it?
Yeah, see, I'm always looking at the tape. So, I mean, if there's the first watch, the rewatch, I'm always looking at the tape, even up to the very last days beforehand. But as far as all the speculation about pre-draft visits and where we're getting rumors about these teams' opinions of this player or this team wants this quarterback or any of that, I really shut that down as much as possible, at least in my head, just because, look, the film is the film. I think that's king. And, understandably, there's the combine and the All-Star games and things like that can play a little bit of a part. And I do think that matters. But as far as right now, especially the last 2 or 3 weeks where all we've been getting is rumors and speculation, I'm trying to tune that out as much as possible.
So I see your most recent mock draft that you have up. When you put that together, is that what you think the teams will do or what you would do if you were the teams?
Yeah, I would say the way that this draft is shaping out, when you look at the first 6 or 7 picks, I think it's very predictive. You've kind of got this narrow scope of, who these teams are going to take, right? There's still some mystery with the Giants at 3, whether it might be Shedeur Sanders still or Abdul Carter. And obviously there's a million trade scenarios that could happen on draft night. But I think beyond those first 6 or 7, I think every team's really got 2, 3, maybe even 4 options on which way they could go. So just kind of, when I've been doing different mock drafts, putting it together with the structure of each team's needs, right? If you have a team, like say the Green Bay Packers that need an edge player and a corner or possibly a receiver, you kind of put together scenarios where each one of those things could happen in different mock drafts. So I think, again, beyond the first 5 or 6 picks, we really we don't have a very clear vision right now of who could go because every team has multiple needs, and there's a lot of good players, a lot of different positions in this draft.
All right, one of the teams we pay very close attention to is the Cleveland Browns. They pick at number 2. I've kind of been on the bandwagon of if you're not going to go quarterback at 2, and by the way, you have Shedeur Sanders going 3 to the Giants. So, and I like Shedeur a lot. I think he'd be a good fit for what Kevin wants to do up there offensively. But if not, then to me, it's got to be weapons. You have him taking Abdul Carter at number 2. If you were Andrew Berry and you were in charge of this draft, what would you do for the Browns at 2?
Yeah, the Carter pick, at the time, because it seemed like just a couple of weeks ago, that the predictive part of this was that the Browns, that's the way they were favoring it. But right now, I'm believing it's Travis Hunter, and I'm with you. It seems like they're now enamored with Travis Hunter. They have bigger needs at receiver and at corner where he could help you with both. So, that's the part where it felt kind of predictive at the time, maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago to take Abdul Carter, but I was never the biggest fan of it either. I mean, it seems like a luxury to go, okay, the best part of your team, yes, is Myles Garrett and this defensive line, and you can get as much pressure as possible on quarterbacks, but if you can't score, you can't score. And losing 13-7 every week doesn't feel very good either. So I'm with you. I think Travis Hunter is the best football player in this draft. He's a rare athlete that we've really never seen before with what he did, especially this past year, winning the Heisman as a two-way player in college football. I would take Travis Hunter. I know then there's been a lot of talk about them taking a quarterback at or near the top of the second round, but his talent, especially with their needs, is just too great to pass up.
What would you do with him?
I would give it a shot to play both ways. I really would. I think he's that special. I know there's been a lot of lean about NFL physicality, and he's got to lean one way or the other. Is he a corner who moonlights at receiver? Is it the other way around? But I would test the limits. I think you have a special prospect that we may not see again for a very long time, if ever. You test that limit and you see if he can go maybe 75 to 80% both ways, because, I mean, there were games he played 130-plus snaps in college, and somehow he got all the way through them. So you worry about the health and worry about him getting a little bit banged up, but I would see what he can do. He's so rare that you have to give it a shot.
Dalton, what do you make of Shedeur Sanders? He's been the most talked about prospect in all of this. It feels like there's the biggest swing. I think the betting odds now has most likely next team being the Saints. I like him. I understand some of the concerns, but to me, they had one of the worst offensive lines in college football, and they were really at best disinterested in running the ball. What do you make of him as a prospect, and what does the tape tell you about Shedeur Sanders?
I like Sanders a lot. I'm one of the bigger fans of his. Even in our building, I'm one of the bigger fans of his. And I think he's just – it's weird to put it like this, but he's just a quarterback. I get it. He doesn't have the Josh Allen arm or the Lamar Jackson legs or even the legs maybe of a Cam Ward, but he's a guy that plays quarterback. He's extremely accurate. His mechanics are clean. And, for as much as talked about, he plays out of structure all the time. Well, you mentioned it with the offensive line and the lack of a run game. he kind of had to. That was the only way that they could win games, was that, look, it was on Shedeur Sanders' shoulders, it was on Travis Hunter's shoulders, right? And they found a way within 2 years to go from 1 win to 9 wins at the Colorado program. When he stepped on the field there, they were the worst team in the Power 5. They were one of the worst teams in the country, and he was really the biggest reason that turned around. I think he's actually a pretty clean prospect. Yes, the pocket presence has to get better, but I think also in a more functional offense that actually has 2 dimensions to it. He wants to play within structure. He wants to play, this is a guy who's worked out alongside, Tom Brady and been around that style of quarterback, and he knows what style of quarterback he is. Can he improvise a little bit? Sure, but I think he can actually get better within more structure in the NFL. I'm a big believer in him.
Talking to the great Dalton Wasserman, college football and draft analyst at PFF. Dalton, so if the Browns go Hunter, which it feels like they're going to go Hunter at 2, Cam Ward feels foregone conclusion at 1 to Tennessee. So then at 2, if it's Travis, if they want to go quarterback at 33, and I'm like you, I don't think Shedeur falls either. I think he goes somewhere in the top 10, and they won't be able to get back in there. Which quarterback would you like for them based on what Stefanski's offense demands of the quarterback position? I think you can look at the signings of Flacco and Pickett telling you where they want to go quarterback-wise going forward, at least stylistically.
Yeah, this is tough because I really believe there's a big drop-off after the first 2 guys when it comes to the rest of the depth of this quarterback class. And I even understand, wanting to take a guy at the top of the second round because you have a chance. I think if you're talking about a guy right now that fits this offense the most, it's probably Tyler Shuck. He's got a good arm. He can throw off platform. He's got good mobility. He had a really good year at Louisville under Jeff Brom, who's quietly become one of the quarterback whisperers in college football. It's probably Tyler Shuck that would fit the offense the best. I mean, but, you have all these other quarterbacks, and even obviously the top 2, but all these other quarterbacks beyond the top 2 that they have their strengths and they have their very clear weaknesses, right? Jackson Dart's got athletic talent. He's got arm talent, but he ran a very college, gimmicky, RPO kind of offense. I think it would be an adjustment for him to play under center. Jalen Milroe, got to work on the timing, the footwork, the accuracy. He's probably the most gifted, physically in this class, but it's a lot of fundamental things to work on. So if they wanted somebody to come in at least, in that range who could functionally run the offense and probably has the most experience running that sort of system and getting under center and doing those things, it's probably Tyler Shuck. But I would almost even wait and see I know you hate waiting, but to round 3, I don't think they have to rush it if they don't feel like there's a certain guy that's ready-made for them.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think honestly, now we continue to do the show in Columbus, Ohio, so we got a pretty good look at those 2 Buckeye backs and got a pretty good look at Emeka Egbuka. But at 33, to me, with the Browns, I just think weapons. What do you make of the Buckeye skill position players who are available, and maybe some of the other skill guys who could be available for them at 33?
I'll tell you what, those 3 guys that are coming out for Ohio State, they're all really good in their own way, right? You start with Egbuka, and I really think Egbuka should be a first-round pick. If he were there at 33 for the Browns, that's got to be a heavy consideration because it just feels like he's one of the easier players to project in this draft, right? Just kind of that power slot Z receiver that can do a little bit of everything for you. He's a great underneath route runner and a really good blocker in the run game. And then you talk about those 2 backs. I mean, the 2 different types of backs for sure. Quinshon, really that early down, just get me 5 yards, engine of the offense type guy. And Travion Henderson, somebody that a lot of scouts really like potentially as the 2nd or 3rd best back in this class with the home run ability and the speed. So, look, all 3 of them are going to get drafted highly. And if there was a 4th guy, a non-Ohio State guy, I'd throw in there that sounds like he might get to that range. If Luther Burden III from Missouri is on the board there at 33, I think that really needs to be under heavy consideration, too. You talk about a Deebo Samuel type of after-the-catch receiver who can just do dynamic things with the ball in his hands. It sounds like he might get into that range, and if he does get there, that's a player I'd really think about.
Dalton, I'll get you out of here on this one. Is there a guy that you would pound the table for in the first round other than the guys in the obvious 5 to 6? Is there a guy you love between 8 and 32 that you're like, man, they just don't see what I see on this guy?
Wow. A guy that I'm higher on, because it seems like the first 20 or so are so
they're kind of locked.
So consensus. I'll tell you what, I mean, Burden's one of those guys who seems to be falling lately. James Pierce Jr. is another one who seems to be falling. I don't know if it's teams don't like his personality or what. Maybe we'll get into the late 20s or even the 30s. James Pierce Jr. has been a dominant pass rusher at Tennessee for the last couple of years. I think teams are getting a really good player out of him. And I'll tell you what, this is somebody that a lot of scouts are very high on. This isn't really a higher than consensus one, but I'll tell you what, I think he should go in the top 16. Jahdae Barron from Texas, the cornerback, I think he could be an absolute star in the right system. I think teams like San Francisco at 11, Arizona at 16, I think there's several teams in that teams range that would absolutely love Jahdae Barron if they got him and he could turn around their secondary.
Dalton, thank you so much for your time and lending us a little bit of your expertise today. Greatly appreciate it.
Oh, appreciate you as always. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there he goes. Dalton Wasserman, college football and NFL draft analyst at Pro Football Focus on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. The transfer portal is open. Are there any Buckeyes in it? And the NBA play-in games might just work. Kind of a thrilling one late last night on the West Coast. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
We've all been there. You come home after a long day, only to find water dripping from the ceiling. Your roof has decided it's had enough. And now frustration sets in. Another unexpected problem added to your never-ending to-do list. At Newman Roofing, we get it. That's why we make the process simple and stress-free, handling every detail with professionalism, so you don't have to worry and can get back to the things that matter most to you. So, how do you begin? Step 1. Schedule your free estimate by calling our office at 614-NEW-ROOF or visiting our website, newmanroofing.com. Step 2. Meet with one of our trusted representatives who will guide you through the best plan for your home. Step 3. We get to work, and you watch your roof transform before your very eyes. Whether it's your roof, gutters, or siding, the Newman Roofing team is here to guide and support you every step of the way. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF to schedule your free estimate and experience the Newman Roofing difference. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking, an account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
It's Lindsay's one and only trade-a-thon.
We'll trade for anything, plus give you $1,000 more for your trade. Choose a 2025 Honda Ridgeline RTL or an all-wheel drive HRV LX or a CRV LX and pay just $299 a month. 3 models with one very low Lindsay price.
Trade up to the reliability of a new or certified Honda.
So lock in your price today. The one and only Lindsay Honda Trade-a-thon is back.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, Kroger brand bone-in hickory smoked spiral ham is only 79 cents a pound with your card, an additional $25 purchase. Limit 2. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Progressive knows sports brings people together, but you gotta feel bad for people who don't even get it. Some people will never know what it's like to see their favorite team's hopes decided by a ping pong ball to draft the next superstar. Or not. I mean, sure, it's silly for your happiness to hinge on the success of a 20-year-old entry-level employee, but you just can't help yourself. The stress is exhilarating. Progressive can't bring people together like the draft, but we can bring your home and auto insurance together with a bundle. So switch and see if you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan. We are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
So it was interesting. Yesterday I was got home and I was just checking to see, getting on the X and seeing if I missed anything throughout the day after cooking some dinner and stuff. It was after the boys, the two littles had gone to bed. And I saw that there was a running back from Cal who was one of the prized kind of guys in the portal. And he was in the portal. I was looking at the timeline of it. He got in the portal yesterday afternoon, which, by the way, the portal doesn't open until today. So portal opens today, but it's almost must be like legal tampering in the NFL. I have no idea. It's all lawless. Who knows? But anyway, he jumps in yesterday. He's in the portal yesterday. By last night, he had already signed with Oklahoma. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how? The portal's not open until today. How's he? What are we doing? Are we even the things that we have in place are unenforceable? I mean, it's like this is like NFL free agency when they have legal tampering, except it's all tampering all the time. So the portal is officially open today, but there's already been a litany of moves that have happened over the last 24 hours before it even opened. So who knows? To this point, maybe I missed something here in the last hour and a half. I don't think I have. I haven't seen anything from an Ohio State perspective. Have you guys?
Nothing.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff. So the big thing that everyone's kind of waiting on is Nico to see if there's anything there. And the thing that's interesting is he's in the portal, but he's under a do not contact situation. On 24/7, he's crystal balled 100% to North Carolina. Please make that happen. Please make that happen.
I mean, Pete Nakos had the reporting that the Tar Heels were not interested in this.
I saw that too, but I'm on 24/7 right now.
I see it.
Teams in crystal ball, and they got him 100% going to Carolina. So I don't know. I have no idea. But he had a do not contact in the portal. Apparently, there was reporting this morning that Tulane had reached out to him, but the contract kind of broke down between his dad and Tulane. And so that's it. It's hard for me to imagine UCLA has $4 million to spend on a quarterback, considering their financial issues. As
$4 million to spend on anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they have big financial issues at this point. But look, you've seen a lot of these guys go in there. Do the Buckeyes have a wish list? Yeah, probably some depth on the defensive line would be something that they would want. But if you look at this, to this point, there is not a ton of guys out there. I'm just on the 24/7 side at the moment, just looking at guys who are uncommitted or unenrolled. And most of the guys were taken care of that are ranked highly. They were taken care of in the winter portal. So there's not a ton out there. And my hunch is that Ohio State will sit this out unless there is something that is just glaring that jumps in that makes them rethink all of it. In terms of guys who are available, latest updates, there's a bunch of guys who have popped in. I don't see anything from any program there's a couple of Michigan guys. We talked about that yesterday, that some of that's there. But for the most part, it's been pretty quiet so far, with the exception of Nico Iamaleava, who at this point is without a place to play. And that's the most interesting thing that's happened in the sport at the moment, because that was when you read more about everything that's happened there, that was a situation where Tennessee said, yeah, we're good. We're good. And it feels like that there is a solidarity that's happened in college coaches around the country to say, we're good too. We're going to send a message that we're not going to be held over a barrel by players who are not elite. And it feels like there's a little bit of collusion here on that side, because there's a lot of places that would probably like him. They probably wouldn't like him at $4 million, but he is. Let's also not bury the lead here. He's a more than fine quarterback. He's a top half of the SEC quarterback. He could come in and be a better option than a lot of programs who have a lot of money. And my hunch is that what's going on is we need to make an example out of this kid and the folks that are handling him, and we're going to sit this one out. So it's hard for me to see a scenario how North Carolina would be. I know he's crystal balled there on 24/7, and I saw the same reporting you did, Reese, saying that look, like we're out. I cannot imagine Belichick sign. Like, what's that conversation like between Belichick, his girlfriend, Mike Lombardi, and Iamaleava's dad?
Never seemed like a Belichick play, right? To get the guy that's trying to be me over team. That's not a Belichick guy.
No. I don't think he'd want the circus either.
I don't know if he maybe thinks, you talk about not wanting a circus. I mean, it kind of feels like everything Belichick's done at UNC has been circus-esque. Like, it would feel, I think, that Belichick would say to himself, I can make this work. Like, it's the NFL. Maybe. It's the total NFL mindset to be like, well, it didn't work there, but I can make it work. And who's to say he can't call up a booster and say, hey, I need $3.5 million. Let's see if we can get it to $4 million with incentives, right? Like, do some sort of NFL-laden contract with, all right, Nico, if you can get us into the college football playoff, or if you can get us into an ACC championship game, we'll make it $4 million, but we're not going to do $4 million right up front.
Yeah, I think this whole thing is just going to be a mess. And I think there's a chance he's made an example of. Hayes Fawcett does a really good job on 3 with, like, kind of a running timeline of all this. There's a big-time running back who jumped in just 2 minutes ago, Branson Robinson, the number 2 running back in the 2022 class. He's not really delivered on a big stage at Georgia, but was a big-time recruit in 2022. He has 2 years of eligibility remaining. I'm pretty sure he's somebody who got in trouble for the speeding and the driving, too. He entered the portal. There's a North Carolina corner who just entered recently. So there's a couple of North Carolina guys who have entered. So this will be a very interesting next couple of days. But to this point, all quiet on the Buckeye front. The running back I was referring to was Jaden Ott. He was the running back out of Cal who was in the portal and out of the portal before it even opened and went from Cal to Oklahoma. By the way, while I was looking him up last night, guess what number Devin Brown's wearing at Cal?
It's 33?
No.
Oh.
No, he's wearing 13. I was curious, too. Like, do you really believe in all that 33 stuff, or do you just want to go back to a more traditional?
Heck.
He'll wear 13 at Cal. I did not watch. I jumped in and I was curious while the Blue Jacket game, if it went to commercial, I'd pop over and just curious how the NBA play-in thing was working. The Magic took care of Atlanta pretty bigly. 120 to 95 was the final in that one. But I did not make it to the late game, but I was intrigued by it. And I will tell you this: I watched the first quarter of the Warriors and the Grizzlies, and the give a damn on that was through the roof. It was compelling right away. It obviously had a lot of star power with Ja and Steph and Butler and everything that kind of goes into it. But they came out ready to go from the jump, and the game they delivered was a real one. The Warriors ended up winning 121-116. Steph hit 2 clutch threes in the last 2 minutes. Yeah, he's still doing that to kind of put them over the edge and get them to advance. What was at stake was enormous. The winner of that game gets to play Houston, a young team that is really getting its sea legs under it in the first round. The loser has to win to play for the right to get Oklahoma City, which feels unbeatable. So what was at stake was enormous, and it felt like it right away. Did you check out? Did you see the beginning of this one at least, Reese?
No, I did not make it.
Awesome.
I saw the tail end of the Hawks Magic game because the Magic were just put the boots to Atlanta, and I saw Trae Young get ejected, and that was kind of fun, and there was some entertainment there, but I was just thinking to myself watching this, I'm like, outside of the two fan bases, this feels like the ratings aren't either A, going to be strong, or the give a damn's not there, because now what? With Orlando, they move on to play Boston. Atlanta gets a chance. They've got to play either the Bulls, or they got to play the winner of tonight's Bulls Heat game, and then they go to Cleveland. And it's like, I don't think anybody cares right now. And it could just be because the team that I care for isn't involved.
Yeah, I think it might be that. I think if you're an NBA folk, you care. And I think the game that happened at the end last night kind of showed there's value.
It's starting to...
It's 10 o'clock, which is tough for us, But, yeah, it felt like an NCAA tournament game. The Warriors-Memphis game did. I mean, that's how big the stakes were, and it kind of felt like it. So I think in that sense, it's kind of working. I don't think it's going to cross over because I think the NBA, like baseball and hockey and everything else, if it's not in your market, you just don't care about it across the other platforms. But it was some thrilling stuff last night and out on the West Coast between the Warriors and the Grizzlies. All right, coming up next, Rory did it. Ryan did it. Who's next? We'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654. Or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax, and not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Kia. Lease a new 2025 Kia K4, just $195 a month plus taxes and fees. Or choose low 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new 2025 Kia Sportage or Sorrento. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
1.9% for 60 months equals $18.37 per 1,000 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 24-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents per mile over. 2025 due. Excludes $250 dock fee, $400 disposition fee at lease end. No security deposit. See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/25.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results. Evan Cohen here. When the draft clock is ticking, you've got to pick the best talent, regardless of position, to fit your team's needs. Well, if you're hiring for your business, you want to find the best talent for any of your roles. That's why you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology hustles to find qualified candidates for your job immediately. And if you see a standout candidate, ZipRecruiter lets you personally invite them to apply. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The college football transfer portal is open. It's a 10-day spring window that runs through next Friday, April 25th. Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava is in the portal after one season as the Volunteers starter. ESPN's reporting Nico is entered with a do not contact tag that's often used by players who've already found a landing spot. In the NFL, the draft starts next Thursday in Green Bay. The Browns had the second overall pick while the Bengals selected 17. In the NHL last night, the Blue Jackets stayed alive for a playoff spot. CBJ blanked the Flyers 3-0 in Philly. Columbus needs Carolina to beat Montreal tonight in regulation. Jackets then need to beat the Islanders on Thursday to secure the 8th seed and head to the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time since 2020. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Dr. Mark Levy's office a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
Second hour of the program. Our good buddy Jake Trotter going to join us in 28 minutes. Still time to get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas. We will get to those at 11 o'clock. The winner there gets a $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. The distillery tour as well. That comes up in an hour from now. Get your officially endorsed, and you're going to need one as you watch the hockey tonight between the Canadiens and the Hurricanes, with all that is on the line for the Jackets. We had, over the last couple of months, two instances where the pressure that was on individuals, and in one part a team vicariously through the individual, manifested in a championship. And the first instance of this was Ryan Day with Ohio State. And you think of the pressure that was on him heading into the Michigan game, the immense pressure that was on him coming out of it, and what Ryan Day decided to do in those moments, in large part because his team was all in as well, was say, look, if we're going to make a run at this thing, we're letting it all hang out. And what you saw at Ohio State in the run to the playoff was the team that we kind of all thought that they would be. You saw a team that was encumbered by nothing, that played footloose and fancy free, that was 10 feet tall and bulletproof, all the things we talked about, fighting with two fists forward, all of that. He took one of the lowest of lows of his coaching career, and him and the operation and the kids on that team flipped it. And they turned it into, wait till you get a load of us. But it was nervy, and certainly what happened in the Michigan game was a very nervy performance, which gets us to a most recent example of getting the monkey off our back, which was Rory McIlroy on Sunday at Augusta, which is something everybody's still talking about. And the reason, I've talked to many buddies who were down there, and one thing they said unanimously was everyone was rooting for him. Everyone was rooting for him to win because we had seen him fail so much. And because he had accomplished the first part of this quest so long ago. And you wondered, if he didn't win, would he even be able to win again at this level? Would this be something that would break him when you're talking about a 4-shot lead heading to the back 9 at Augusta, and a 3-shot lead with a chip shot on 13, which is as easy a chip as you're going to ever play. And he hit it in the water. And you went, God, what happened? And post-round, he talked about it was the most nervous he's ever been in his life was before the round. And I think Ryan's never said this, but if you think about one of the criticisms about Ohio State in the Michigan game in the last few years is that they play tight, they play nervy, they play trying to prove there's something that they're not. Sometimes for a while it was, we got to prove we're tough, so we're going to run it. We're going to conservatively do this instead of just being yourself and letting it go. I don't think it's a coincidence that when Rory McIlroy had to have a miraculous shot where he could swing free and had to make magic happen, and he had to go full throttle, he delivered. His shot on 15, he's got to bend it around a tree. And how did he have to do it? He had to swing out of his shoes. The second on 17, you're swinging like crazy, full throttle. Why? Because you have to think. It's when you think that you get in trouble. It's when you think that nerves get involved with all of this. Let me ask you this. What is the most nervous you've ever been professionally in your life? So what I mean by that is something you've been trained to do, something you've been prepared to do, and it come time to do it, and you're like, okay, don't blow this, boy.
It was the 2020 football season. It was an Ohio State game day, and I was doing my first update on this station. It was the last time I can remember being so unbelievably nervous for something that I had done maybe hundreds of times.
Well, because you probably envisioned yourself doing something like that growing up here, because this is something you've wanted to do for a while, and now all of a sudden it's you doing it.
And I was doing it in my apartment. Right, spoiler alert, in my underwear at 6 a.m. I remember the legal hit at 5:59:50, and I'm like, oh, bleep, don't mess this up. So I'm not sure how many people actually heard that, but during that stretch of time, because it was so new to everybody, and to me working on air at the Fan, I was always worried about Odie, because like if he would bark during something, Timmy and I did a Buckeye show, and I think we had Beanie Wells on, and Odie just kept barking the whole time. And I'm like, sorry, Beanie, I think Odie has a question.
Right.
I think for me, Bo, and I don't know if there's one that's ever the most, but I think every time I do something for the first time, somewhere, like the first time I called a game, or the first time I called a game for a new entity or organization, the first time I was on air here at the Fan, I was doing the high school football scoreboard show, something that Lee and I had done together for 8 years. But I literally was, had that feeling. And I don't even know if I call it nervous. I just call it like an energy. But yeah, the first time here, I'll tell you what, Reese, I had it Saturday when sitting up there with Anthony Munoz in front of those people. I had that feeling right then. Once I got into it and we gave I asked him the first question, it was go time, and it was business as usual. But right there at the beginning, you get that feeling.
Sometimes we forget we're talking to people. Like, it's the three of us having a conversation, but sometimes you forget that there's the audience. When you do something in front of a crowd of people, it's different.
Absolutely.
It's very different. Most service I've been in professionally was the first time I did a sportscast at Channel 10. When I came up here, I was hired by, Ohio News Network hired me, but it was just as Channel 10 had kind of, the sports department under Paul Swan kind of put it all under one roof. So we were all going to kind of start working together, and I was kind of the test pattern for it. And there were people at Channel 10 in management who were like, well, this guy can't do sports. He can't do a sportscast. He can't do it. He's not a Channel 10 man. And Moose went and fought for me, and Dami did, and Jeff Hogan at the time, and some others. Like, yeah, he's more than fine. He can do it. But I remember thinking, like, everybody in management and ownership at WBNS is watching every single second of what I do. I better not blow this. And it's a 2.5-minute sportscast. And I remember looking, you guys are right there, that there's that hallway behind the studio at Channel 10. There was a mirror there where you could check, like, your tie and your makeup and your hair before you go out. And I remember looking in the mirror and saying, it's just talking to a camera. You've done it for a decade already. Like, it's the same thing. And it went well, and the rest is history. First time I did a show here at the Fan with Bob that I had hosted, he and I did the old off-season show like 10, 12 years ago, something like that. And I remember thinking, like, I had the show all prepped out, and he and I had gone to lunch at Eddie George's, and we kind of mapped out what the show was going to be. And it went to start, and I started talking like 1,000 miles an hour. And then I went, oh, we still got, and at those, like, now our segments are like 11 minutes, and those, it was like 15, I want to say. And it was like, wow, you got a lot of time here, buddy. You got a long way to go before you get to that break. You might want to slow down. I think even in my first show, I may have used the Jim Rome line, like, racket. I think we were taking calls at that time. And I'm like, you got a racket? And I remember, like, Mike dying. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I'd heard, like, Coward and Jim Rome, and so I just did that. But yeah, I guess the point is when you see meltdowns from our sporting events, from our sporting heroes, or people who are professionals, you've all had it too. Whatever you do in your life, and even if it's something that you've done every day, there's a moment that has happened either recently or early on in your process when you went, oh, this is for real now. This is real now. And there's nerves that come with that. So no matter how prepared you are, nobody's more prepared to win Augusta than Rory McIlroy. Nobody. But there's a weight to it. Nobody's more prepared to play the Michigan game than Ryan Day. But there's a weight to it. And then how you respond coming out of that kind of dictates. So then when you start having that conversation about who are the next folks out there that need to get that monkey off their back, the most famous example of this is Steve Young. In fact, there's an NFL Films video that's very popular of him literally, pulling a figurative monkey off of his back. Because why? Because the San Francisco 49ers said, we're going to go with this guy over Joe Montana. And they traded Joe Montana. And if he didn't win a Super Bowl, he won all the MVPs he wants, and he won several. But if you don't win the Super Bowl, then what the hell did we just do this for? We had Joe, and all he did was win Super Bowls. So there's stuff like that. Ray Bork. Remember Ray Bork with the Boston Bruins? Then he got traded to the Avs. And then he won the Cup with the Avs after this incredible career in Boston. He took the Cup back to Boston. LeBron James. Not just in Miami, but bringing it back to Cleveland. The pressure that was on him to win a championship in Cleveland. It's off the charts. There are individuals, there are franchises that I think are now next on the clock. And we will get to those individuals, those franchises. To me, coaches come up a lot on this list. We'll go through some of the ones that jumped out to us coming up next. Who's next in terms of it's time for you to win the big one? We'll get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay. Moving up payday so you could get your money faster. Up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
Before you start your day, UDF has already started making your breakfast right in our bakery. We've got buttery, flaky croissants baked before the crack of dawn. We're making fluffy buttermilk biscuits from scratch by the time the sun starts to think about rising. And before you hit your first alarm, we've piled our biscuits and croissants high with sausage, egg, and cheese right in store. So come in and grab a fresh one and let us make you a morning person. Fresh baked breakfast sandwiches from United Dairy Farmers. UDF, mornings made for you.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious blueberries, money saved. A creamy treat of cookie dough ice cream, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also 10 points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Men over 40, struggling with low energy, not feeling like yourself? Low T Center's testosterone replacement therapy is the solution. Get started today. Visit one of our conveniently located clinics, meet a medical provider, and get back to feeling your best. This April only, the consultation is free. Treatment is tailor-made just for you and is covered by most major insurance. Get treated at our centers or from home. Why wait? Book your appointment now at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens. Mid-50s and sunny this afternoon. Temperatures drop tonight under clear skies, near freezing by early Thursday. We'll see temperatures in the mid-60s Thursday afternoon. Dry during the day. Small rain chance Thursday night. Rain chances will pick back up Friday night, but that'll come after a dry Friday that pushes temperatures near 80. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And as always, we are proud to be sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. I've got an appointment there on Saturday for a little Mother's Day. I know my wife isn't listening. She probably thinks the show's only an hour. All right, who's next? By the way, I got it. This is a pretty. This is a great tweet out of a loyal listener, Ryan. He mentions even the release of emotion was similar. Ryan with the headset toss, Rory collapsing on the green, just the weight of the world off their shoulders. The relief of that. Like, you can be excellent, but then there comes expectations, and how do you manage it? So let's stay in the college football world. When you think of who needs to win one next, first name that comes to mind.
Sark.
That's me.
Franklin.
Yeah.
The only thing that, so I wrote down Franklin, but I put Sark first. I think Sark's the number one because of the expectations of Texas.
I had Dan Lanning with a question mark, and the question mark just means, is there pressure on him immediately? Is there that kind of Ryan Day-esque pressure?
Does Oregon have that pressure?
Could that program ever have that kind of pressure?
Phil Knight has that pressure. He wants to see it.
He's got tick, 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 right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sark, to me, feels like the answer. I think the reason, I'm with you, Bake, on Franklin. Like, if he doesn't win now, win. But I don't know that Penn State cares enough to, like, demand him win it. What they're doing in the Big Ten tells me that they're, like, kind of cool. Like, hey, win 10 games, we're good. I don't know that there's, like, does Marcus Freeman have more pressure than Franklin?
Yeah.
To, like, win it all?
Yes.
Like, at what place? You would have said Lincoln Riley at USC, but I just feel like they're so far off the grid now. I mean, when you talk about winning a national, like Kalen DeBoer's probably got it.
Yeah, I was going to say Kalen DeBoer following the legend.
Yeah, the clock's ticking on him a little bit. So there's some guys out there in college football that make sense. In the NFL, there is one that jumps out to me. There are a couple of players, and then there's Kyle Shanahan. And I think Kyle is the coach. If you want to say, like, who's the Ryan Day of NFL before Coach Day won the national championship with Ohio State this year, I think it's probably Kyle. 100 bites at the apple, always good, had a roster that has been loaded for a while. Now they're in a transition year a little bit now. They're going to have to play Purdy, so they got to deal with that a little bit. But in the NFL, like, the name I just kept coming back to was Kyle. I was trying to think of anybody else in the league that has, like, that individual coaching pressure. There's some quarterbacks I'll get to in a second, but is there anybody coaching in the NFL that we're missing?
This isn't a coach, but Jerry Jones?
I like that. Is it possible, though? I've thought about this with Jerry. I think we talked about this briefly at the Combine. Is it possible that Jerry's Super Bowl is the value and worth of the Dallas Cowboys? And that winning isn't it?
I think he might tell you that just to save face on this.
Well, maybe. They don't spend in free. They're not a free agent player. Like, they don't do it in free agency. They only draft their guys and they re-sign their guys, but they don't get involved in free agency. They typically don't get involved much in trades. They are always really lackadaisical when it comes time to extensions. They still haven't done Micah Parsons. I think it kind of depends on how you think Jerry views it. Does he view it as like, I want to win one, or is he like, I'm good. I got the most valuable sporting entity on the planet. That's my Super Bowl.
I think he does want to win one, but to your point, Bo, his 30, 45-minute press conferences, I think, are right up there for him. Like, he enjoys those just as much as winning a Super Bowl.
I'll give you two NFL. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Had both of those written down.
Right? I mean, you think of those two. Allen has knocked on the door for a while. He's knocked on the door for a while and hasn't gotten to the Super Bowl. And to me, it's even more on him than it is even on the Bills as an organization. I was trying to think of the NFL equivalent of Rory McIlroy winning it. And the Bills are the team I thought of from the standpoint of they had, and it has to be Rory at Augusta, because obviously Rory won a bunch of other majors, but it had to be Rory at Augusta because he'd been in the mix so often. The Bills played for all those Super Bowls in the late 80s, early 90s. They've been knocking at the door since, the last 3 or 4 years on it. They've not won a Super Bowl. It's kind of the only thing they're missing. Incredible fan base, all of those things. They've been really good for a long time, mostly good for the last 40 years, more oftentimes good than not. And they have a superstar in Allen. They feel like they would be the one where they would be a big release, and they're close enough. The Browns would have that too. The Bengals would have that. The Bengals are closer than the Browns, obviously, but they haven't had the at-bats. Like, the Browns haven't had the at-bats that the Bills have had. The Bills have had a ton of at-bats. I think it's even more Allen than Lamar in the NFL from a player-specific perspective.
I would agree with that. I think I'm glad you mentioned the Bengals, Bo. And I don't know how much the pressure is mounting right now, but if they haven't won one in 5 years from now and you don't get it done with Joe Burrow, I think the pressure starts to mount. Big time.
I had Zach Taylor written down with a question mark.
What's the question?
If they go, they got to win with what they've done as an organization this offseason. If they don't make the AFC Championship game, are they looking for a new coach this time next year? Or are they introducing a new head coach this time next year?
Gosh. I mean, they've paid their guys. It's
what more now can you do? They fired Lou Anarumo last season.
It's time to go. Yeah, it's time to go. Yeah. I think that's it. I don't think they have to go win the Super Bowl, but I think they got to be AFC Championship game, that type of thing. And I don't think Burrow's yet at this. I think Allen feels like more pressure than Burrow because Allen hasn't been to the Super Bowl. Burrow's been to the Super Bowl. And I think the same with Lamar. I think it's Lamar and Allen for a player in the NFL. I think those are the two players that it's time for them to get to the big game.
Bo, let me circle back on another coach here.
Go ahead.
Is there starting to be pressure that's mounting on Mike Tomlin at all?
He's got the win, though. Yes. To answer your question, yes. There is pressure on him, and I think we look at it as whether you're Browns fan, Bengals fan, you look at Mike Tomlin, you go, God, who wouldn't want Mike Tomlin? They win every year. They have a winning record always. They're in the playoffs most of the time. But I think over there, it's like, why haven't we won a Super Bowl in a while? Well, the reality is it really just comes back to quarterback. Like, they haven't really been relevant since Ben hasn't been really good, and that's kind of the end of it. So, but they always win. I think there is pressure on him over there, but I think it's mostly from their perspective because he's already won the one. He's got a Super Bowl championship. So I don't know if it's Kyle doesn't. Kyle was the offensive coordinator up 28-3, guys, on the Patriots. He's been to the Super Bowl twice with the 49ers. It's definitely long past time, I would say, for him. Other sports pressure spots. I think Duke basketball with John Shire has become that with what happened this year. I think he had a long grace period, but the way that they recruit and the fact that he had this team that felt so unstoppable with this transcendent player who was great, and they blew it. And you look at recruiting, they're right back in it, right? It's another number one class. It's 2 of the top 5 players in the country. It's this. He's following that blueprint of we're going to get the best players in the country to come here. But at some point, he's going to start to feel it. I think it's more on, I mean, you think about the other places in like college hoops, they've either already won it or I don't know that it's that important that they do. Whereas it feels like Shire's probably in college basketball, men's college basketball, he feels to me like he's got next in terms of it's time to go win one. Like the fact he didn't win it this year with Cooper Flagg, I think is going to be a weight around his neck for a while.
Yeah, it's just college basketball is just so the rosters fluctuate so much. Like, how many starters is Duke going to be returning from the 5 that made the Final Four?
Maybe one.
One. So I don't know if I can even give a college basketball one. I thought about it as Mitch Marner got 100 points last night. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Like you got Austin Matthews. They've got 106 points. I think is second best in the league this season. That feels like if it's not at Rory bubbling now, it's getting there in a year or two.
The Toronto Maple Leafs would be winning the cup would be like if the New York Yankees won the cup, except if the New York Yankees won the World Series, except they were the Boston Red Sox history. So biggest market, most popular team, but never wins it. They haven't won it since, I think, 64?
67.
67?
Yep. Is that Canada's drought too?
No, the Canadians won it in, 86?
Canadians won it in the 90s, too, with Patrick Waugh. They beat Gretzky in, 91 or 2. They beat the Kings in the final. So, yeah, the Canadians are the most recent. But the Toronto pressure, you can't even wrap your head around it. They just haven't had that many even bites at the apple. They haven't even played for the Cup. Canadian team hasn't played for the Cup since either Edmonton or Calgary in the 2000s played for it. No, Vancouver did, too. Vancouver played for the Cup in the last decade or so. So there's these little instances. The Leafs are probably, from a franchise perspective, they're the most. And they do probably have to take advantage of Marner and Matthews and all of that stuff. I wrote Guardians down too, but I don't know that that's the longest drought in baseball, but I don't know that the ownership and stuff takes it seriously enough to where if they don't win it, I don't know that there's pressure on that.
Yeah, not near. I mean, if we want to, you can't fairly go from the Maple Leafs to the Guardians in terms of pressure because, it's just the 2016 getting there, there's no real pressure to win it all.
No, I don't think so either. I think there are some of them out there. And here's what you do know, because we just saw it twice. You saw it with Ryan. You saw it with the stakes for him. And you saw it with Rory. When you do it, it is a relief the likes of which you rarely ever see in sport, and it's magical. Jake Trotter is going to join us in 2 minutes. Transfer portal, his thoughts on that, his thoughts on the Buckeyes at spring football as well. That's in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here, Heart Care helps you heal faster. Advanced, minimally invasive procedures mean less time recovering and more living life. See how we care for all of you at MountCarmelForYou.com.
Can I get Mega Millions?
Good choice. Mega Millions is bigger than ever. Jackpots now start at $50 million and grow faster.
Sounds mega.
And now, every game has a built-in multiplier, so all non-jackpot prizes are multiplied between 2 and 10 times.
Bigger prizes, better odds, and just $5? Give me 2.
Mega Millions is bigger and better than ever. Get your tickets today at your local Ohio lottery retailer. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Indeed it is, and Jake joins on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, buddy, you've covered college football, then you covered an NFL team for a stint, and now you're back on the college side of it. Last week when you see Nico Iamaleava, I want more money, I'm not going to go to practice, and then a guy who had a lot of success at Oklahoma playing quarterback, Josh Heupel in the Tennessee program, said, yeah, we're good. We'll see on down the road. Now he's in the portal. What do you make of all that?
Well, we have our first college football holdout. It's exactly what that was in the NIL era. I don't know if it's going to be the first of many. I think what happens with Nico could reveal where this goes. Based on everything we've heard, he does not have a robust market right now. I think the combination of the money he's asking for, the timing of it, and then his reputation after leaving Tennessee high and dry. But, listen, I know for a fact that, this was last season. There were players in college football whose agents were negotiating during the season. Mm-hmm. And you remember Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State's head coach, basically came out and said, tell your agents I'm not negotiating during the season because it was happening there. I'm sure it's happening at a lot of places. And as this continues to be the wild west, where there's, no binding contracts, there's no salary cap, until we get this House settlement to add a little bit of stability, this is what you get. And, you can blame Nico all you want, but this is the system that college football has implemented. So at the end of the day, the administrators and the university presidents who have always been chasing the bottom line, especially with conference realignment, I think everybody has a role in where we've gotten to and where we are at this point.
Jake, I think the thing that's interesting about Nico's situation is he just barely overplayed his hand. And what I mean by that is he's not quite good enough to demand what he demanded. He's good. He was really good, and he was tough as nails here in the playoff game. And I have a broken helmet. And he kept battling. He got hit a lot. So he's good, but he's not so good that you're going to pay whatever he asks. And conversely, because of all of the off-field stuff and because of what I just said in terms of he's not quite good enough, he's also a guy who I feel like college coaches could collude against to kind of prove a point if they want to. Where do you sit on that?
It sounds like, now I don't know that there's any collusion, but, we had an article yesterday about where things stand for Nico. And I think the quote that one general manager gave was he has zero market. There is zero interest in him out there because, bringing a guy like that in is a huge roll of the dice. And, we've seen, professional teams do it. We saw the Browns do that. A different situation, but they rolled the dice on Deshaun Watson. It completely backfired on them. And you're right. Like, I don't want to use Jeremiah Smith because that
use Arch Manning.
Yeah, let's say Arch Manning came out and said exactly what Nico. And maybe that's not even a good enough example because Arch is a little bit unproven. But if you have there you go, somebody like that who's a top 10 prospect, had a good season, a little bit better than Nico, then what happens? Do you have to capitulate does the school have to capitulate at that point?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. But you are right. Like, Nico is not at that level. But, I mean, I've seen mock drafts where he's like a first-round pick next year. So it's not like he can't play. And he just went to the playoff, and Tennessee had a phenomenal year. There are other reasons for that. But, yeah, it is a fascinating test case in how this is going to look going forward.
Yeah, it's kind of he's really the perfect storm for it. I mean, everybody knew in the recruiting process that he was I want the biggest bag guy. I told the story earlier this week on the show when we were talking about this, buddy. Like, it was kind of like what happened with Cam Ward last year in the portal. Like, it became kind of known that Cam Ward was where's the biggest bag? That's where I'm going. Like, I got to and I don't blame him. And he was projected as a 4th or 5th round pick. Like, he had to get as much money as he could while he could. Nobody ever envisioned him being the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft like it's going to happen next Thursday. But I remember thinking to myself, man, why isn't Ohio State going after him? He's kind of got all the things that they've liked at quarterback, elite athlete, big arm, all that stuff. But then you start to hear whispers, yeah, he just wants the most money. And Ohio State's like, yeah, we're not getting bidding war. We're not going to. So then they go the way that they went. It all worked out very well for them. But it's one of those things that you can take. I always tell people this. You can take those risks, or you have to take those risks at places like Tennessee. They needed a big haul in recruiting. I think about Underwood at Michigan, right? They needed a win for Sharon Moore in recruiting. So they went and there's a Michigan kid who's a 5-star quarterback who's going to LSU, wanted to play at LSU. But, God, we really need a win on the recruiting trail. So you do those things and you make concessions. And I do think there's some cautionary tales here for coaches. I just wonder if their own greed to acquire players will be slowed at all by this.
Yeah, the market is the market. It's great to be in position like in Ohio State where you don't have to take that type of risk. And, again, what happens if we get to June, July, and Nico's not on a roster? It's not completely unthinkable, especially given that he's asking for, he's reportedly asking for more than the $4 million that he was trying to command from Tennessee. If everybody says, nah, we're good, and, he ends up not playing next season, I think other players in the future are going to be very careful about how they handle their situations, and trying to, procure more money from their own universities.
I couldn't agree with you more. We had the spring game here on Saturday. I saw your piece on Jeremiah Smith and where he would go in the draft, but obviously all eyes were on the quarterbacks here. And Ryan threw it 61 times with Brian Hartline in this game. What did you make out of what you saw from the Buckeyes on Saturday?
So I wasn't at the spring game. Tried to follow it best I could. Seemed like the quarterbacks played pretty well. Now you've got a lot of new faces on the defensive side, and sometimes. Depending on how the games are officiated, it can be inflated for the quarterbacks or against them. But I think you had to come away feeling pretty good about Julian Sayin going forward, right?
Yeah. He was a little bit like a video game. Hit X, ball goes where X is. It was kind of like that. It was just really accurate and really locked in. And I think when we're in such an interesting spot in college football, and that's you pay attention to these spring games because you have new quarterback here, you got a new quarterback at Notre Dame, you got a new quarterback at Oregon, you got a new quarterback at Alabama, a new quarterback at Georgia, a semi-new quarterback at Texas, a new quarterback at Oklahoma hasn't been on that level, but it's a blue blood, and new quarterbacks there. I don't recall anything like it where, other than Penn State with Drew Aller up here, everybody else is going with somebody new. And I think when you look at these spring games, you think of these spring practices, these have been critical. And I think that's one of the things that changed like midway with Ryan Day. Like, man, we need to have full contact. We need to see these guys, what would happen in a real game, because, by God, we open with Texas. We're not waiting into this season. So I think this has been a different spring at Ohio State than what we're accustomed to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have a lot of questions they have to answer, and the talent level is there. Like, the talent is not the issue, but they have a lot of untested players. They have a lot of inexperience. Even some of the transfers they do have, like those guys have not played, in this particular type of setting, which is just completely different. And yeah, you've seen a lot of teams kind of turn back from the spring games, in part because the season is so long now. You heard Steve Sarkisian at Texas say, like, we can't play spring game because, we're beat up from the season still. And Ohio State, had to feel that way as much as anybody with the number of games that they played. But, at the same time, there's no preseason. You've got to replicate game conditions best you can. And if you're coming out of the gate playing in Texas, playing Ohio State, in Oklahoma and Michigan or week 2, there's a bunch of games in the SEC in week 1. I mean, you're not going to really have another opportunity to replicate that in the fall. So there is some importance in spring games, even though I think that they're probably about to jump the shark, and we're just going to have a different look in what the spring is going to be going forward as the season continues to expand with the playoff. But yeah, right now, like, this is it. You don't play 3-4 preseason games like you do in the NFL.
This is it. And it's such a tricky thing for teams, too, because I'm sure you looked at the attendance. I mean, like, there was nobody at Alabama's. You saw some of these images, like this whole thing of, like, we're trying to veer away from the spring game. Folks still like their spring games. And here's the thing. These athletic departments, Jake, they like their money. And they need it. They need $80,000 paying $8 a person to get into that place instead of 40-some. So that's they got to be careful a little bit with this, because there's a tradition to it and there's a monetary value to it that it's hard to replace. It's basically found money.
What do you think about the joint, imitating the joint practices like Dion, Mike Gundy have suggested?
That, if they could pull that off, now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, I think so too. I think now the NCAA ruled against it, but maybe if it's petitioned again in a different way, what is the NCAA going to do if somebody says we're just going to have a practice anyway?
Nothing.
I think that there could be, and you're trying to again replicate something for the fall. There could be something to that, and Mike Gundy wanted to play Oklahoma. You don't think that would sell out? OU couldn't have had more than 1,500 people at their spring game this year. Really? I mean, it was embarrassing how empty that stadium was. And, you're playing, somebody like that, then all of a sudden that's packed and you're making not an insignificant amount of money to put toward your NIL programs.
No, not at all. All right, buddy. Good stuff as always. We'll do it again soon next week.
Okay. See you, Bo.
All right, there he goes. Jake Trotter joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, ESPN college football analyst. We hit a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Hi, this is Ron from the Good Feet store. Are you standing on painful feet all day? Don't lose hope. We want to help you live without pain. Discover your options and visit goodfeet.com. Or stop in today at the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway in Grove City.
Before you start your day, UDF has already started baking your breakfast. We're making biscuits and croissants in our bakery served with sausage, egg, and cheese before you hit your first alarm. Fresh baked breakfast sandwiches from United Dairy Farmers. UDF, mornings made for you.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver. Leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Montana, Bettis, Horning, and Brown, some of the greatest of all time, kicked off their careers in South Bend. You can celebrate Notre Dame football's impact on the professional game by visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton to experience gold helmet to gold jacket now through April 27th. And register to win our grand prize at 971thefan.com/gold jacket. One winner will receive 2 tickets to the Hall of Fame game, enshrinement ceremony, and the Hall of Fame Museum. That's 971thefan.com/gold jacket.
Breaking news.
lose. And this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
Hey friends, Austin Ward here. Free for life. Just by saying that, you already know I'm referring to Awaken 180. They're the only company providing it. Fast, proven weight loss, and then keep it off thanks to free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a first Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Former New Orleans Saints linebacker Scott Shanley tweeted something yesterday that's still up at x.com, and I'll read from it. Quote, "My 2 cents about Derek Carr's shoulder injury news. If he's pouting because the Saints are going to look for a young quarterback in the draft, he's too thin-skinned to be your quarterback, and the guys in that locker room deserve better. A competitive person would say it's time to play so well the young guy won't touch the field anyways. Nothing is promised to anyone in the NFL. Everyone's time comes to an end. Nobody is owed anything. If really injured, should be at the facility and surrounded by surgery specialists today. Mrs. Benson didn't pay you $40 million a year to do car reviews on YouTube. Tough times will always reveal a man's character." End quote. Again, that tweet is still up.
Jeez. Thing
or not a thing?
Man, that's a lot of stones, man, being thrown. It has to be a thing. Now, did Shanley, how much did he play with Carr? You know, I mean, is he just recently no longer a Saint? What is his experience with him all about? I think that part's interesting. These are incredible accusations, but we've seen sometimes this stuff gets personal and maybe there's something else behind it. One thing I know from watching him on Hard Knocks was it seemed to me like Derek Carr had a very, I hate to even say this, but just the way it felt. He felt very inauthentic to me on Hard Knocks. And it feels like he was trying to like be a leader of men, and it just didn't come natural to him. Like he's got a talent, but maybe that's somewhere where he falls a little bit short, and this kind of falls in line with that. I don't know anything about the YouTube car reviews. That's new to me. I don't have any idea what that is. I do think there is one big thing of this that has not been talked about, and to this point, no one in New Orleans has talked about it. When did the shoulder injury happen? When did that happen? Like, he had an injury to his hand on his non-throwing hand where he had broken bones. Okay, fine. It was week 14 last year. When did the shoulder injury happen? What is the injury? And they've had involuntaries down there since Monday, and no one's talked. Kellen Moore hasn't talked. Like, someone's got to say when this injury happened and what the injury is.
Yeah, it's very interesting that this came out, Bo, when we've heard nothing about this injury other than he's injured. We don't know when it happened, how it happened, any of that. And as he says, wouldn't Derek Carr be rehabbing with the team doctors and stuff? So it's very interesting, and I think it's more of a thing than it's not a thing here, because why would he just come out and say this all of a sudden for no reason?
So Shanley's last year with the Saints was 2012. It was his last year in the NFL. That had been Carr's third season at Fresno State. So there is no overlap professionally. Maybe there's something personally there. I know Shanley is well regarded in the Saints organization, just doing a quick Wikipedia search. He also, in the replies, speaks heavily about Drew Brees and the kind of one-of-one player that Brees was as a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints organization. So,
yeah, it's interesting. They're heavy allegations
that nobody's refuted yet.
No.
And yeah, I think the Carr brothers do car reviews on YouTube.
Oh, do they?
But
like their own or just anybody's?
I think they review cars that they have, their friends have.
The cars on cars?
So I think that's the premise of it. But
comedians in cars getting coffee.
Can a man
reviewing cars? Yeah.
Have a hobby?
Sure.
Some say baseball, watching baseball is a hobby. The Red Sox beat the Devil Rays 7-4 last night. It's been 14 years since the Rays had won a game on tax day. Tampa's last win on April 15th came back in 2011. They beat the Twins that day 5-2. So in that 14-year span, they've been off 3 times on tax day, but everything else has been a big fat L. Thing or not a thing?
It's one of those statistical anomaly things, easy for me to say. In big picture thing, not a thing. It's funny, we were, this was over break, we were bouncing around, flipping through channels, and the boys saw Tampa Bay playing a home game. And they were like, well, that's an interesting stadium, Dad. And I said, yeah.
Sure is.
That's where the Yankees play AAA ball. That's their spring. I'm not AAA ball. That's the Yankees spring training stadium, which I've been to. It's awesome. But the idea that a major league team is playing there, another one is playing in a AAA ballpark in Sacramento is absolutely astonishing to me that that's happened. Tampa Bay, because of tragedy, obviously, they lost the roof on their building. They've been trying to build a new one down there for 25, 30 years, honestly. And that's not a joke, because when I was down there, they were doing it or trying to get it done. And so that jumps out to me, too, when you every once in a while, when you see a highlight or something, they pop on, you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. They're playing at Legends Field.
I don't know if we've ever had a thing that is more not a thing, but a thing than this, because it's not a thing, like you said, Bo, in the grand scheme of things, but it is a really cool, amazing thing that they cannot win on this day. One of those cool sports stat nerd things that they would go crazy for and love. I think this is pretty awesome that they just can't win on this day, although it's kind of unfair to blame tax day on it, because tax day technically isn't always April 15th, right? Because if it's on the weekend.
But if it's April. Oh, you're right.
If it's on the weekend, you can file them on the 17th or something like that. So it's not always tax day, but pretty crazy that they can't win on this day.
So this is more of you've got to read the context before you just take what your opinion is going to be based off of the headline. But in an interview with CBS Sports, Travis Hunter was asked what would happen if an NFL team told you you're just playing wide receiver or cornerback. Now, here's the quote from that article from Travis Hunter. Quote, "It's never playing football again because I've been doing it my whole life and I love being on the football field. I feel like I could dominate each side of the ball, so I really enjoy doing it." And then Deion Sanders told Yahoo Sports, quote, "It's not like he hasn't done it before, but he's done it at a whole nother level in college, so why not?" Hunter added, I just feel very confident in myself, and I got a competitive spirit that I can do whatever I put my mind to, and I feel like I can do it. Thing or not a thing?
So I think this is not a thing at all. I think what will end up happening here is, let's say he's drafted by the Browns, which it feels like he's going to be. So he's drafted by the Browns. They look at their roster. They say, we need you first at receiver. So we're primarily going to play you at receiver. But guess what? You're a hell of a lockdown man-to-man corner, and we're going to play you a ton of nickel. And so I think that's probably what it will be if he's drafted by Cleveland. Like, he will be a weapon on offense. And then defensively, he'll be a nickel corner who comes in. And what a luxury to have Denzel Ward on one side. They still have Greg Newsome, and they've got MJ Emerson as well. And all of a sudden you have Travis Hunter. I mean, hell, you could play him at safety a little bit and just have him be a ball hawk. Like, you could do a lot of things with him. So I don't think this will amount to much. I think this is a kid in front of a mic and is exhausted in the process and said some things. But I do not think for a second this is a thing.
Yeah, this isn't a thing, because there's no way Travis Hunter is not playing football if someone says, no, you're only playing on the offensive side of the ball, or no, you're only playing on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. And also, I don't think any team is going to say that. Now, he may have a primary position. Like, someone may say, man, we've got to have you as a lockdown, shutdown corner. But there's no way that he's not going to be on the offense at least 10 plays a game, catching passes, and vice versa. If he's a receiver, there's no way situationally some team isn't going to have him in their defensive backfield. So totally non-thing.
Yeah, you start to get excited. I mean, just an ultimate weapon. There's a lot of different ways you can employ him, and I think that they probably will. Final hour of the program coming up next. Porty's going to join us at 11:30 on the Jackets' improbable run here the last week. We begin it, though, with a little bit of, hey, guys, still time to get your questions into the fellas. We will do that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax, and not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. Visit Giant Eagle to see how easy it is to save.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen. To draft an agent for your team, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Chevrolet, Central Ohio's #1 Chevy dealer. Lease a new 25 Chevy Trax, $139 a month, or a new 2025 Silverado, just $288 a month, at all 5 Coughlin Chevy locations and CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Trax is a 36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing. Silverado is a 24-month lease with $49.99 due. Both plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/25.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Blue Jackets have a 15% chance to make the Stanley Cup playoffs. Jackets beat the Flyers 3-0 last night in Philadelphia. That extends their win streak to 5 games. Columbus now needs Carolina to beat Montreal tonight in regulation to have a chance to clinch tomorrow night with a regulation win over the New York Islanders. In baseball, the Guardians beat the Orioles 6-3 last night. They'll go in game 2 of a 3-game set in Baltimore tonight at 6:35. Last night in Cincinnati, the Reds doubled up the Mariners 8-4. Both teams are back at Great American Wednesday at 6:40. In the minors, the Clippers beat the Louisville Bats 6-2 yesterday at Huntington Park. They're back at it tonight at 6:15. And the college football transfer portal window is open for the next 10 days. Nico Iamaleava is in, but is yet to find a new home. This update sponsored by the Waterworks. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system with the Waterworks. Visit online today at thewaterworks.com.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little Hey Guys on a first Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
Yeah, the best one here gets that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank and the Distillery Tour and the tasting for up to 10 people. It's home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running, located right here in town. Drink local, drink High Bank. Go ahead, Reese.
All right, so we can also see as well with Twitter and the YouTube chat live, Hey Guys questions. So if they are air appropriate, we can throw them out there. And I was talking about Nico Iamaleava in the update. John threw one out that I just saw. Hey, guys, what do you think Woody Hayes would have to say about the Nico Iamaleava situation and just the current state of college football?
Kindly leave. It's what he would say about Nico. You imagine that? I mean, Urban's I see him on his podcast trying to react to this. There's just no way. You don't even have to go back to Woody. You don't have to. All you have to do is realize that Nick Saban left because of this. Urban's not coming back because of this. This will drive people away from the sport because it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. There's nothing that Woody Hayes would say about all of this that I could say on air and still be allowed to continue to broadcast. So I'll just save that for off air. But it would go exactly the way that you think it would go.
I think of the scene in Tommy Boy Bo where Tommy's sitting there, Chris Farley's sitting there, and he lights they're in the guy's office, he lights the car on fire, and he's crashing them together, and he's making the ambulance sounds, and the guy looks at both of them and just goes, get out.
Yeah. Here's the other thing to remember, too, about Woody. Woody, one of the things Earl had to deal with when he first got hired was Woody didn't demand raises. Like he made, in his last season at Ohio State, he made $43,000 a year. So if you adjust that for inflation, his final salary is around $170,000 a year. Our guys are making $11 million.
My, how times have changed.
These things are different, man.
Hunter asks on Twitter, hey guys, what are your top 3 beers/cocktails? Not brands, but events. Examples would be airport, golf course, etc. So I think what Hunter's asking is situational drinking. What are your top 3 situations to have a beverage at or in?
Okay. Hard work, cold beer. So outdoor manual labor, sweat, cold beer. So that, for me, that was fixing fence or branding or cattle roundup, herd, something like that. All of that growing up, cold beer wins there. So that would be very high on my list. I like cold beer in a pool. I think cold beer in a pool is a win. That's a nice one on a hot summer day. Cocktail, there's a cocktail for every day. I mean, it's the first Friday, so I got a good one for you this week to kind of coincide with the game tonight between the Canadians and the Hurricanes. So there's a lot of reason. I tell you what, I do love a really nice. You give me a really nice post-dinner cocktail after a nice white tablecloth. That's tough to beat. I don't do it much anymore because most times we go out or with the boys, and I don't consume in front of them in that way. But if it's just me and the wife and we're on vacation, that's a pretty undefeated one. Nice meal, and then a little whiskey at the end, a little bourbon at the end is always a win.
So I love this question, and I feel like this is an easy one for me. A beach drink, pretty daggone good. Airport beer. God, I love an airport beer. That means vacation is underway. Let's go. And then a hot tub drink. I'm all in. I love a hot tub, and I love having a drink when I'm sitting there.
Is the airport beer, does it matter the time of day? Like, will you have one if you fly at 6 a.m.?
Listen, when you're in the airport, it is 5 o'clock. Let's go.
Somewhere, yeah. Okay.
So I have first drink of vacation as my number 1. I got to get out of the airport. I got to get away from all of that. When I'm at my destination and everything's settled, then I can feel good about having that drink. And that's kind of when it hits you that, I have really no responsibilities. And the feeling there is almost unmatched. I also have, Bo, what you kind of called the hard work beer. I put under a post-run beer. What I'll kind of glom it all together of I've earned this. Mm-hmm. The drink that you have when you've earned it is second to the first drink of vacation. And then a baseball beer. When you're watching America's pastime at a stadium and the sun's out and it's a perfect day, a beer there's pretty perfect.
Yeah,
I like how you phrase that, the earned it beer.
Yeah, because it gets at like a workout or mowing the grass or putting fences up or building a deck. Whatever you do to earn that drink, boy, it feels really good going down once you know that you've in fact earned it. Single Barrel asks in the YouTube chat, Bobby Threes and AJ Hawk versus Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, and Cody Simon in a tug-of-war. Who wins and why?
The latter. The rest of those guys are men in their 40s. And they're all in great shape, but like these dudes are like in their prime, man. Like, no, give me Sonny, Arvell, and Cody all day long. Now, if you want to go like in their 20s, then I think it's maybe it's a little different, but I mean, how big is Sonny? How big is Arvell Reese? Like size-wise, and now Bob's a big dude, so he would be a long line. And AJ and Threes are nothing to shrink at. Both were big dudes. I just think they're men in their 40s, and give me guys in their 20s all day long.
Yeah, unfortunately, if we're doing it right now, I think we've got to go the young guys. But in my head and in my heart, I'm always going with that trio from back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you put them both in their athletic and physical primes, they're just so much bigger, stronger, and faster than athletes are back then. But with the first three you mentioned, that's a lot of procedures.
Yeah,
at their current state.
Like Sonny is. I just looked. Sonny's listed 6'4", 235. Arvell is 6'4", 238. They're just massive dudes, man. Just big dudes.
Ace asks in the YouTube chat, hey guys, get in your time machine. You get invited to bring your family to meet the president. Which president are you meeting?
Oh man, that's a good one.
My favorite president is Teddy Roosevelt. I think the only thing kind of lacking for his resume, I just think lived the most interesting life ever. When you just go and read about what he did and how he went about his business. So that would probably be the one for me, just because of the life that he lived. I think the only thing lacking, he just didn't have a war to fight. And in order to be like a president of consequence, you kind of have to have a war. You know, that's usually something that's important. He didn't really have one. So Teddy Roosevelt would probably be my pick. Abraham Lincoln would be tough to beat, man, you think about trying to go through all that he did to keep the Union intact. And then founding fathers would be pretty good too. Like George Washington, wooden teeth. How's that working out, buddy? It's got to suck.
You mentioned Abraham Lincoln, and I think that's one that's tough to beat. I thought of him right away. I think I would choose JFK, though. I think I would go back and sit down with JFK. He seemed to question a lot of things and had different views than a lot of presidents had in the past. So I think I would go with JFK.
Imagine if you had him on Truth Serum.
Oh, baby.
I'd go Ulysses S. Grant. I mean, the ones you guys mentioned.
You're going to enjoy your drink.
Grant, you're going to have a good time. You get some real good war stories with that. Just real quick, Zachary has a really good one that I just saw on Twitter. Is it worth buying sports jerseys anymore in college football with the unpredictable transfer portal? Especially with what just happened with Tennessee, I wouldn't want to wear a Nico jersey anymore.
I have a rule I haven't worn a jersey in a very, very long time. I'm not a jersey guy. I understand that it's part of the culture around here to wear the jerseys to games. I get it. I think it's cool. It's just not for me. But the rule that I have is, with the boys, it's a little different because they outgrow them all the time. But if it was something where I was buying one that was finite, I would just get an all-time player. Then you have to worry about it. Like, if you're getting a Buckeye jersey, who's your favorite Buckeye player? Get that jersey. And I would do stuff with the boys. Like, I'll text threes and be like, hey, dude, is it safe to buy a 2? Yeah, it's safe to buy a 2. Is it safe to buy? Yeah, buy a 2 and a 4. You'll be fine there. Like, those make sense. You get a couple years out of them. But if you're like in a situation where you don't have to worry about getting a bigger size down the road, I would just always go with an all-time great. And I think that solves it.
So college jersey-wise, I would have never got one for a player anyway because the players changed all the times. Whenever I've had an Ohio State jersey that I've bought for myself, it has always been a number 2 because number 2 was always my favorite number. So any Ohio State jersey I ever had was 2. Now, my buddies knew that I loved Mayan Williams a few years back, and they bought me a Mayan Williams jersey. I myself did not purchase that, though. So I've kind of always been, if I'm buying jerseys, I get them with my number on them. It's usually a number 2 because that's the favorite.
And 2 is usually a baller here.
It's been
pretty safe.
I think we did that, right? One day we kind of talked about that a little bit. What number is the best in Ohio State history? And 2 is up there.
It's way, way up there. NBC has a 27 that's with the thick gray sleeves, which is pretty damn undefeated when he's worn that to games. So, like, those, I think all-timers, that's the safest way. And then you don't have to worry about it.
You mean Toronto Argonaut, Mayan Williams.
Is he?
Yeah, signed with them right now. I know he's
How about it?
Trying to get into the NFL, but he was at Ohio State's pro day. We got to pick a winner.
All right. Who do you want to go with? Who do you guys like? Was there one that jumped out? Was the Tug-of-war?
Yeah, I think the Tug-of-war is pretty good.
That's pretty fun. I'll ask Threes and Bob if they think they could win now. Both Bob will say yes, James will say no, is the way that'll go. So congratulations. You're going to give you the winner, the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank Distillery Tour and Tasting for up to 10. High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. It's located right here in town. Grandview, Gahanna, Westerville. Enjoy the award-winning spirits for your next happy hour. Make your reservation at highbankco.com. Speaking of jersey numbers, what's the deal with retiring them? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking with no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. It's your money, right? So keep more of it. Make the switch today at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, people are officially going crazy over our sleek, black-framed windows. They change the entire look of a home.
Leslie, nobody believes that just black frames can change the look of a home.
It's like when Superman put on his black-framed glasses and became Clark Kent.
Wait a second. Clark Kent is Superman? Are you messing with me right now?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
When your sump pump is no longer sumping and pumping, please don't become a sump pump grump.
A sump pump grump thinks whacking the pump will make it start working again.
But it never does.
Get Eco.
ECO. A sump pump grump will let a faulty sump pump completely ruin a perfectly good day.
Fortunately, I've invented a solution.
No more sump pump grump?
No more sump pump grump.
Get Eco.
ECO. Tell me about it, Jerry.
The solution is that you get Eco to do a sump pump inspection.
What would that include?
We check your pump, your battery backup, and all the downspouts and drains along the way to make sure everything is running clear.
How much?
That's up to you, Aaron.
Jerry, Eco would be happy to do that for just $89.
That's a great price.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
He shoots, he scores!
It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
My name is Paul. I'm 58 years old. I lost 45 pounds thanks to the Awaken 180 program. Before Awaken 180, I was drinking Pepto out of the bottle at night to go to sleep from heartburn. I was struggling getting up and down the stairs, like tired all the time. And I didn't know that's how it wasn't supposed to be. I just accepted that's how my life is. And then one day I said, it doesn't have to be this way. I made a decision to change my life and I chose Awaken 180, and that was the best choice I ever made. I needed support. I'm a person who needed support. Awaken 180 provided that support for me. They changed my relationship with food. I changed it with their guidance. That was the whole thing. I had to change my relationship with food. And I learned how to eat. I learned healthy fats. I learned all about sugar and what it does to me. And I just learned a new way to live.
A change Paul and I both needed and we received with Awaken 180. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Great weather this afternoon as sunshine continues across the region. Temperatures in the mid-50s will drop to near freezing by early Thursday as frosty conditions are expected under clear skies. Mid-60s Thursday afternoon. Small rain chance Thursday night. Dry during the day Friday. High near 80. Shower and storm chances return into the weekend. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right. Interesting stuff over the last 48 hours or so in regard to the Colorado football program. And it's the lowest hanging fruit. everybody knows who Shedeur Sanders is. So when you have this incredible gulf of time between the NFL scouting combine and the draft, you have content that has to be created. And if you are a content producer, whether it's what we do, or especially if you're on the national scene at ESPN or NFL Network or FS1, and you have people and your bosses telling you better talk football and you better talk the NFL. So you go into your daily pre-show meeting and say, all right, we got to have an NFL topic in here. We got to have the draft. We got Aaron Rodgers. We got something with the Cowboys. Like, okay, but with the draft, what do we have? Well, we got Deion Sanders' kid, quarterback in Colorado. And there can be a wide range of opinion on what he is or what he is not. And so because of that, we have heard about Shedeur Sanders for 2 months straight. Now, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't thrown a pass, hasn't played a game, hasn't done anything. He had a pro day. That's it. He's fine in the pro day. But the idea that he's done anything in this process to make him fall or rise other than individual meetings with teams is nonsense. And the wide array of view on him and what he will be at the next level is good for business, quite honestly. It's good because all of you know who he is. And so it's an easy jumping off point. Let's talk and let's have a conversation about Shedeur Sanders. So anytime they do anything, him especially, and Travis to a lesser degree, it's talked about. So this week at Colorado, they decided that they are going to retire the numbers 2 and the number 12 at Colorado. So I know this because I was at Florida State. Deion Sanders, number 2, is retired at Florida State. There have been players. No one has worn it since he did. And he didn't play there since 89. It's a very popular number. And no one has worn 2 at Florida State since. It sat idle. There was a 5-star corner out of Southern California named Dominic Robinson who idolized Deion Sanders and asked him personally if he could wear 2. And Deion's answer was, I'm going to come to practice and watch you. So he did. And I was at the practice when he came and watched. And the resounding answer to that was, no, you can't wear it, was how that went. So when I saw Shedeur and the idea of retiring number 2, I thought to myself, okay, that's number 2 is retired at Florida State, number 2 is retired at Colorado. And so there's some family connective tissue there. The issue that you run into here is not Travis Hunter. Heisman Trophy winners, yeah, retire them. Fine. Although I'll get to what I think they should do on that in a second. It's the Shedeur part that's a little bit tougher probably for Colorado folks to wrap their head around. But they've also given the keys to their kingdom to Deion Sanders and Coach Prime and all that comes with it. And he has resurrected it. It was the worst Power 5 job in the country. They won 9 games last year. They were on the precipice of the playoff. He's done a nice job in recruiting. They're a stable program now. They are in a much better spot than they were when he took that job. It's hard to even put it into perspective. I mean, winning 4 games year 1 was a massive achievement for them in year 1 at Colorado. But there's nothing that Shedeur did that would demand you retiring his number if he was not your son. That's the thing that I think is probably hard for some of the Colorado folks out there. There are players who played for national championships at Colorado who don't have numbers retired, who are key figures in those that don't have them retired. And I think that we're getting to a point, college football's been around a long time. I do think we're getting to a point, and I think Ohio State does it kind of right the way they're doing it now, where you retire a jersey, but not the number. So the jersey's retired, but you can still issue the number. That, to me, feels like probably what this ought to be going forward, because you're just going to run out of numbers for kids to wear. And 2 is one of those numbers that you could put that, I guarantee you, last year at Ohio State, Emeka won it and Caleb wore it. So, you have 2 2s. And most programs would probably like to do that because kids want to wear that number. So, to me, retiring a number is different than retiring a jersey. And I wish more teams would follow the latter versus the former.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense to just do the jersey, do a Sanders and a 2, and just have that be forever in the rafters if they want at Folsom Field, and let Deion kind of run that the way he wants to. When I saw this, I first thought, well, the ticket sales must be down because it's a spring game they're going to telecast on ESPN too.
Yeah.
And so my guess was with this, they would want to bring more people to the field to watch this live and in person. And then you add the celebration of Travis and Shedeur and what Colorado's been able to accomplish over the last 2 years, largely because of the play of those 2 in front of your fans while giving them a glimpse at what hopefully, will be just a successful era without them.
They're just the fifth and sixth players to be retired there. The most recent retiree before these two was Rashaan Salam, who won the Heisman.
Which was well-deserved.
Heisman, yeah.
I think it's, and you're seeing a lot of teams do this now, almost like a Ring of Honor type thing, and that's probably the correct way to do it, because if you think of teams like the Yankees, Ohio State, you think we talked about Montreal and the history they have in hockey, the Canadians, all the players that have worn those jerseys, eventually you're going to not have enough numbers. So, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, well, let's put your jersey in a Ring of Honor, but people can still wear that unless it's something, that's just really crazy and ridiculously way out there that somebody accomplished or did. They don't need to have the jersey retired. And like here at Ohio State, obviously, you talked about it. Archie's number's retired, but Andy Katzenmoyer asked him if he could wear it, and they let him. And then, Bo, I can't remember. I know Chick Harley's 47 is retired, but they did that after AJ wore that. After. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, it was after AJ. Yeah. And I don't know how many of those because they obviously 10 is retired for Troy, but they still issue 10. So that's an instance where they retired the jersey, but not the number. I think that's a sweet spot. I'm going to tell you, I hate to give them credit. I think what Michigan did a few years ago is pretty cool. When they would issue retired numbers, and then on the jersey was a patch that said, this is in honor of this. I mean, that happened to Clemson too. I want to say the quarterback name was Steve Fuller. His number 4 was retired at Clemson, and Deshaun Watson wanted to wear 4. So he wore 4, but then it had a patch on it that said, this number is retired for this player. I think what Michigan did was kind of cool. Like when they issued 1, and then it said, this is why this number is retired, or 2, or 21. I think there's some value in that. And I think also it allows for a younger generation to be aware of who somebody is.
Bo, I think Michigan also, like, their number 1, receivers have to, like, prove themselves, right, to get that number. Like, Braylon Edwards was 3, and then he switched to 1 because that meant something there. Yes. I'm okay with that, too. Like, if an offensive lineman wants to wear 75, you can wear 75, but you have to come in and prove you're worthy of it.
Yeah, 75 is not anything here, which is pretty crazy. But because here the standard is Heisman winner and then Bill Willis. But it's Heisman winner, Bill Willis. Like, that's the list around here. Michigan has 6 numbers retired: 11, 21, 47, 48, 87, 98. Those are the numbers. So Desmond Howard's is retired, but then Charles Woodson's is not. So 2 isn't. So they retired the jersey there, but not the number. I think that's the sweet spot, because you want to issue these. I think, by the way, it's ridiculous that no one's ever going to wear a single digit for the Yankees again. Like, think about this. No one's worn number 3 in 100 years for the Yankees.
They're going to have to change that at some point, right?
Why do you think Aaron Judge is in 99? I'm guessing it wasn't his first choice, right? But, like, all the singles are gone. They don't have any that aren't retired at this point. So, yeah, I think you're just running out. And to me, like, just honor it. And there might be more value in that than versus retiring a jersey. So, and the Shedeur things, that's a tough one.
Just real quick about Aaron Judge in 99. It was at spring training, and they just gave it to him. Here's a number.
That was it?
That's it. And it just stuck with him.
He looks pretty cool in it. I'm not going to lie.
It looks cool. I mean, Beamsy wears it for lacrosse. He goes 99 for lacrosse. So, I mean, if you're good at, you better. I told him when he said he was going to wear it, I said, you better be good. You're going to wear 99. You better damn well be good, because everyone's going to notice that, buddy. All right. Speaking of hockey, this is going to be an interesting 48 hours for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Aaron Portzline has been there from the beginning covering the Jackets, and he'll join us in 2 minutes with some perspective. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets. Jim?
Up things are down things are up.
Sounds like things
You
are...
don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh, yeah. Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Colin Man here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Watching big events are more fun at Hollywood Casino. For example, there's this draft thing coming up. Large men get selected to move to different cities and play football. That's all I'm legally allowed to say. Not only do you get the excitement of on-site wagering and camaraderie, there's prizes to win at the Sportsbook. And sign up for Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on the house. Do it now. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, it's a hell of a spot we find ourselves in. Jacket fans, those of us who observe and cover the team, certainly did not think we would be here. A man who's been here from the beginning will join us now on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. He's right here in Portzline, covers the Jackets for the Athletic. Well, buddy, this was .08 last week, and it's all kind of worked to this point. What has this last week been like as you've observed?
Well, Bo, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, they have been on the brink of elimination now for four games, not just their own games, 4 of those, but also every time Montreal has played. And it has fallen to the point where now it's still, I think if people are throwing money on this, you'd probably still, Montreal just has to get a point. Columbus has to get 2 and to do it in regulation. You'd still probably favor the other team. But I can't, there's quite a bit of momentum here, and Montreal is going to be feeling it tomorrow night or tonight. You know they are. That city's going to be just tighter than a snare drum, and then it comes back here if they're fortunate enough. It's crazy that it's come down to this, where the math is fairly easy to do now. It seemed impossible. Now it's maybe implausible, but it's definitely possible.
Buddy, you've been around this sport a long time, and you understand absolutely, because you've been there a lot, what the game means north of the border and what it means in places like Montreal and Toronto. They moved a debate up tonight, because we need to be clear so that we can watch this game. You've been in that building a lot. When it gets nervy, my hunch is that it's a lot like a Buckeye football stadium on a Saturday when it starts to go south. It gets nervy, it can swallow the home team up. What do you anticipate tonight in Montreal?
Well, it's a really good comparison. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, look at the other night. So the other night was all about the debut of Demidov, this great kid they drafted a couple years ago in the draft, and he was amazing. And then it got to be 2-0. It was 2-0 for a while, and you could just feel the building tense up. And now they've had 48 hours. They watched, of course, the Blue Jackets game last night, which only intensified it. That city, it is just like Toronto in terms of its hockey insanity, where it's the everything all the time around the clock. There's like 40 people who cover the team on a daily basis and travel. It's insane. But there's also sort of a darkness and a angriness, I think, to that market that maybe isn't quite there in most of the places in Toronto, where they do turn. I remember the early years of the Blue Jackets going there, and if the Blue Jackets would score first and be clearly playing harder and faster than Montreal, the crowd would just turn. And some of them boo, some of them whistle more than they boo. It's going to be very, very stressful there tonight for them, especially if they don't score first.
Yeah, it's all eyes here will be on it. All eyes around the hockey world will be on it. And then if it goes your way, then you got to take care of your business. Before we get to that, I want to ask you about this run Jet Greaves is on. First star in the league last week. I thought he was incredible last night in the first period until the Jackets kind of found their game in the second. Should he have, let's second guess a little bit because that's where we're at. Should he have been brought up sooner? Did they see this in him?
Well, I think to go backwards here, I think if they did see this in him, I don't think anybody could have expected it to this extent, but if they did see this in him, he would have been up here earlier. Listen, they tried to make it work with Elvis Merzlikins, so there's no question. They got it to game 76. At times, he was pretty good this year. Lately, he's gone off the rails both on the ice and with some of his behavior, frankly, screaming at teammates, shattering his stick. That's not what you need to see down the stretch from your goalie when you're in these must-win situations. You need stability back there. You need predictability back there. Jet Greaves is maybe the most goalie I've ever dealt with, in that he's very down to earth. There's no hang-ups, none that I see anyways. There's none of this tiptoeing around the goalie. There's none of this routine that must be maintained. He'll talk on game days. Half the time he says thank you for the questions when the interview is over. Like, it's just, he is such a down-to-earth guy. He's beloved in two dressing rooms. The AHL Cleveland team absolutely loves this kid. I know the coaches, management there are as excited about, they'd love to have him back, of course, but they're as excited about this as anybody. And the players in this room. And, you know, you can hear in their words when they talk about him. Every compliment to him is also, I think, a critique on what they faced from some other goalies this year. And they love playing for this guy. He's playing his butt off right now. He's playing exceptionally well. And when you watch team sports, you see these magical runs from teams, and the Blue Jackets are on one right now.
Big picture, does this make them rethink him for next? I know obviously there's a contract situation as well. Does this change? Yeah. It has to, right?
You know, I don't know if it changes. He had a one-way NHL contract, so I think there was a really good likelihood he was here anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can say, yeah. I mean, come on. To me, the question is, I don't know that they entrust him immediately with you're our 60-game guy or a 55-game guy. My sense is they would bring in a veteran goalie if they completely overhaul that position. I don't know what becomes of Elvis and Tarasov. Elvis has 2 years remaining at 5.5. Is now the buyout almost required if they can't trade him, which would seem a very difficult thing to do. Tarasov is a restricted free agent. Does he get qualified, or do they just let him walk as well? I think Greaves is going to – if I had to bet right now, I'd say that Greaves will be here for sure in some capacity as a goalie. My question would be, do they bring in a veteran to eat some big starts and have Greaves as the number 2 with a chance to win the number 1, or if they split it up, or how they go about it? But I think for sure he's going to be here.
So his performance is one that perhaps no one saw coming. The performance out of 19 is something we all hoped would come, and boy, has it. 5 goals in the last 3 for Fantilli, but it's not just that. I mean, it's what he did with Leonard on Saturday. Like, there's a gear he's found here at the end that is everything we thought when the Blue Jackets drafted him. What have you noticed in him during the last couple of weeks, and what has been an amazing season already, but now he's over 30 goals, Porty?
Yeah, right. 30 goals, 20 years old.
Jeez.
Crazy. You know what I see, and this will develop as he moves along, but I asked Dean Evison about this, I think it was a month ago, maybe more. There are some guys that don't even seem to get nervous on a big stage. Nothing seems too big or rich for them. He has scored some huge goals for them at big moments this year. He performs at a different level, I think, on the grandest stages. That's not just the arena, but the situation. He looks to me like a big-time player. I don't mean just his attributes by themselves, but the fact that he is the best player at the biggest time. He has that air about him. He always has. I wonder, Bo, everybody, and listen, Connor Bedard's going to have an unbelievable career. But what would this draft look like just 2 years later if you drafted it again? A big, forceful, driven, two-way center Those don't come around very often. I think we may look back at that draft and see him falling to 3, into their laps of 3 as one of the moments that changed this organization around.
And those of us who, and you follow it daily, but those of us who follow it, and the folks around here who are diehards, that was always it felt like a 2-player draft anyway. Carlson came in late to the mix, and it was like, yeah, but I remember just thinking like, well, the Jackets picked 3rd, and it was like, oh man, like Carlson's gotten fine, but like you really wanted Fantilli if you were going to get Bedard, and then he fell in your lap. And there's this idea of sport kismet, right? I mean, there's some higher power, puck luck, hockey gods, whatever. Everybody knows what this team has been through. As improbable as this last week has done, I can't help but feel like Charlie Brown and Lucy with the football, but this team has defied all of that all season long, and here they are. We said, hey, have that outdoor game matter, right? Well, they did, and then they won it. Yep. And then they went through a lull, and we were, hell, I did a Shelley time last week with Jody, and it was like a postmortem. It was like, okay, this is probably done, and now here we sit.
Yeah. And you know what? I if I can bring it down to like just one little blip in all of this, in the shootout against Montreal, puck goes off the goalie's right pad, goes off the crossbar, goes about 20 feet in the air, lands in the crease behind the goalie. And those pucks always go into the net. This one shoots out the other direction between his pads, no goal. And Chicago wins in the shootout. That keeps this thing alive. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what's going to happen tonight, obviously. I don't know what's going to happen Thursday, even if they get what they want tonight. And I don't want to be this guy necessarily either, but no matter where this goes, this has been an incredible season for so many players on this roster. There's been so much defined and learned this year. Just talking to another GM 2 days ago, his first words were, Donnie doesn't have to do anything up front this summer. Like, those young guys have shown so much that this team really has as bright a future now as it has ever been. And they're going to be so much better for having gone through this rich experience. Having said that, nobody wants it to end tonight or tomorrow.
If you just what I think what you want, and I think what this fan base, I just can't imagine what Thursday night will be here if they get it on their sticks. If it can, that would be pure magic. So that's where we're at now. Like, just get to Thursday and a building that is full to the rafters with a win in regulation you're in. That's as magical as you can get, my friend.
100%. And is there a fan base in sports that deserves it more?
Nope.
Right? Is there a team in sports that deserves to have this sort of joy and elation more? Is there a team in sports that deserves a story like Jet Greaves, right? Werenski's emergence this year. Marchenko's the life of the party and a 31-goal scorer in his own right. Kent Johnson. Like, it does feel like it's blooming here. Let's see how things go tonight, but Thursday could be an absolutely momentous night on so many ways and incredibly emotional no matter how it turns out.
You're the best, buddy. Thank you so much for the time. Greatly appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks, Bo.
All right, there he goes. Aaron Portzline covers the Jackets from the beginning and does so now at The Athletic on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Time for Three Things. You're officially endorsed as well on this fine First Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Steel walk behind, zero turn, and stand on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. April's a great time to spruce up around your house, like getting rid of those old, ugly, drafty, hard-to-open windows and starting fresh. Especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. There's no limit to how much you could save, and if you buy a house full of windows, they'll include a free entry door, too. Plus, with 0% financing, 0 down, and no monthly payments, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. How do they do it? Well, Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation to build windows to their high-quality specs. Then they pass the savings on to you. You'll protect your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Hurry, the sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the Buy 4, Get 4 free and pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. One more time, that's Buy 4, Get 4 free from Window Nation, 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
1-800-GOT-JUNK makes space for possibilities. When our clean, shiny truck arrives, it's the sign of a new beginning, a clean start, a breath of fresh air.
All the animals start giggling, a rainbow appears, and music fills the air.
Your best friend calls with happy news. Every table has fresh flowers on it, and your nights are full of candlelight.
We bring the springtime.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Uline is expanding in Ohio with a 1.4 million square foot building, and they're looking for exceptional people to get this location up and running. The company has seen decades of growth, creating a stable work environment employees can count on. Warehouse workers earn pay starting from $25 an hour, with significant growth and earning potential. Plus, new hires can earn a $5,000 year-end bonus. Check out current Aetna job opportunities at uline.jobs/Ohio.
Can I get Mega Millions?
Good choice. Mega Millions is bigger than ever. Jackpots now start at $50 million and grow faster.
Sounds mega.
And now, every game has a built-in multiplier, so all non-jackpot prizes are multiplied between 2 and 10 times.
Bigger prizes, better odds, and just $5? Give me 2.
Mega Millions is bigger and better than ever. Get your tickets today at your local Ohio lottery retailer. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Limit 10. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Hey friends, Beamer here, 70 pounds down. Let that sink in. I'm officially 70 pounds down, all thanks to Awaken 180, and have transitioned smoothly into maintenance mode. This isn't just weight loss, this is life-changing stuff. I've dropped over 13% body fat, my visceral fat points are down by 8, and honestly, I feel like a completely new man. The coolest part, Awaken 180 just doesn't say congrats and then wave goodbye. They prepare you for maintenance, so now I get to reintroduce to myself foods that I love. Pizza, ice cream, very excited about all of that. My mindset's completely different though now. Do I crave junk food? Honestly, no. Can I eat those things now? Sure. Will I? Absolutely. But the difference is I no longer feel like I need them all the time. And Awaken 180's free support for life means that this weight's staying off. My body's now working for me instead of against me. I'm finally at my healthy baseline weight. I feel awesome. Change your mindset, change your life. Awaken 180 made it happen for me. And if it can happen for me, it can 100% happen for you. Check them out online at awaken180weightloss.com. awaken180weightloss.com.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit casterconnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what are you on the poll today?
The Daily Fan Poll is sponsored by Caster Connection, and it asks, the Blue Jackets need a regulation loss from Montreal tonight versus Carolina and a win in regulation against the Islanders tomorrow. What happens over the next 2 days? Montreal wins tonight. Montreal goes to overtime. Montreal loses. Jackets win. Montreal loses. Jackets lose are your 4 options. A Montreal loss tonight and a Blue Jackets win are getting 53% of respondents. 29% say Montreal wins tonight. 9% Montreal goes to overtime. 9% Montreal loses, and the Blue Jackets lose.
Yeah, I am. Look, it's a first Friday. I'm an idea man. I thrive on enthusiasm. I'm gulping life. They're getting in.
1-9-1 since 21.
Let's go, baby.
Montreal against Carolina. Let's go.
Let's go. I mean, come on. You got to believe at this point. We got to believe. Got to. What choice do we have? All right, it is First Friday. Time for your officially endorsed.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday, officially endorsed, because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good, because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar, because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
All right, so in an effort to buoy our chances tonight in Montreal, as we are all Hurricanes fans, the official cocktail of the state of North Carolina is the Cherry Bounce. Now, it involves cherries and fermenting and waiting a week and all of this convoluted nonsense. We're skipping right to the front of the line here, kids. We don't have that type of preparation. So what I did is I did my own variation of a Cherry Bounce, and I'm doing it as a form of an old-fashioned. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to need about 3 ounces of bourbon of your choosing. High Bank bourbon is a great one to get your hands on a bottle. Woodford would be a great one to use here, too. So both of those, whatever your favorite bourbon is, that would work. So 3 ounces of that. You need a Luxardo cherry. We're going to go 3 of them. Normally, I'm a 1 Luxardo. I think we're going 3 Luxardo tonight because I think that's the amount of goals that are going to be required for Carolina to win. I think they need to score 3 times. So 3 Luxardo cherries. Then you're going to take the juice from the Luxardo cherry, and you're going to pour that in there. And then if you have them, you're going to use cherry bitters. I always have cherry bitters on hand, so you're going to use cherry bitters on that as well. You're going to put all of that in your cocktail shaker, and they need it to be shaken. That's what a Cherry Bounce, and I'm not going to deviate too much. So normally I don't shake an old-fashioned because that's basically what this is. But in this instance, I will. I'm going to shake it not over ice. I don't want it to break down. I just want to get those cherries and the cherry juice to fully take on the bourbon. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to pour it over a large rock, and away we go. So a Carolina Hurricane Cherry Bounce variation. You're officially endorsed on this fine First Friday. Time for 3 things.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number 1 for me. So I was having a conversation with my wife this morning, and she said, well, this Sunday is Easter. And she said, you know, the boys were talking about the Easter Bunny and some of the stuff that comes in the basket. And she's like, you know, I just want to make sure that the Easter Bunny himself knows kind of what they want. And my pushback to that was, this isn't Santa. Like, this isn't Christmas. It's not a wish list. Like, there's no list. We don't wish for things. Whatever the Easter Bunny decides to give, then that's it. That's the standard here. And she's like, well, I don't think the Easter Bunny would want them to be disappointed. And I said, I don't think the Easter Bunny cares. Here's your basket. Enjoy your chocolates, kids. That's my hunch is how the Easter Bunny probably feels about those things. My hunch is that my view of how the Easter Bunny might feel about these things are going to end up being different than how my wife does. And my guess is the Easter Bunny is going to feel much more in line with her beliefs than mine.
Have you consulted Buddy Garrity on a potential Easter Bunny in your lawn?
Dude, he's bloodthirsty now.
Got the taste.
Yeah. I got a story for you tomorrow. We didn't have time today, but a story for you tomorrow on a bird that was stunned that not for the faint of heart.
First thing for me, though, you got a pair of Buckeyes that have entered the transfer portal. I got this from Patrick Murphy of Bucknuts and 24/7 Sports. Ohio State walk-on receiver Reese Stocksdale and Ohio State punter Anthony Veneri are in the transfer portal. Veneri transferred in, I think, from Buffalo. So happy trails to both of them. Hope they find greener pastures and the opportunity they're looking for in Columbus.
We may have to do an emergency pod on that. I'm kidding.
We don't have time.
Yeah.
We mentioned yesterday that everything was ready to go. We just had to punch the numbers in to the tax software and get the taxes done. So for the most part, the taxes yesterday went pretty painless. Got them done in plenty of time to be ready and focus on the Jackets game last night. However, even with all of my deductions and all of the receipts I kept and everything that I added up and tabulated, I guess I made a little too much money last year. So, yeah, Uncle Sam's getting a nice little check from me this year. Unfortunately, that was not great. So I need help tonight, Carolina. Make me feel better from this taxes pain.
Number 2 for me, yesterday, NBC is in a text exchange with his girlfriend. So he's 13. So, like, they have, they talk most nights and they have these long text exchange. And she has this, he showed it to me. I didn't read it, but he showed me this incredible text exchange of the various issues she is dealing with in her friend group. And he was reading some of it. And I said, wait a second. I said, who is this about? And he goes, who knows? You could never know who it's about. And I said, it reminded me, I just started dying laughing because it reminds me sometimes when my wife tells me stories about things and I'm like, I don't even know who this is about anymore. It just goes to tell you, like, we are two very different species in terms of how we go about life and the things that are important. And it doesn't really change if you're 13 or if you're in your 40s. It's all the same, man.
Second thing for me, I think the outrage towards Wiley Ballard's just a little bit of doing too much. He was the Braves RSN reporter that got the girl's phone number the other night in Toronto. Like, this is a Atlanta-Toronto game on FanDuel Sportsnet Atlanta, probably being watched by a couple thousand people. And if you ever watched a baseball broadcast, there are so many times where they just need stuff to do. Like, every broadcast has a reporter eating something. What'd you find in the concessions during this game? It's not that serious.
No, it is not. And I saw that they've even had to debunk it and say that it was all a bit now and all of this stuff. Can we not just have a little fun? Can we not settle down just a little bit? Like, just relax a little bit. Not everything has to be a 5-alarm fire, folks.
Man, I thought that was a nice move. I thought it was a pretty good move out of that.
It's just an entertaining bit. Like, who cares if it was real or...
Relax.
Yesterday, towards the end of the show, I got a text message from one of my friends, and the text message said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on. So we got done with the show. I sent them a text back. I said, yeah, I'm fine. Why? What's going on? Well, yesterday, I guess, in the rush hour hours of the morning, there was a shooting on 70. And normally that's the way I go in from work, except when I go to work, I'm going the opposite way of where this incident all happened. And I was like, oh, well, that's really nice that they were worried about me getting shot on the freeway. No. They wanted to make sure I wasn't the one who shot someone.
Good
and I'm
Lord,
like, wait a second, what's going on here? Why would you think I'm shooting people on the freeway?
What don't we know about you, Baker?
I don't know about it myself. So
all right, this will be the third one from all of us. Go Canes. Go Canes tonight.
Yes.
Get a win. Let's have a Thursday that matters around here in Old Columbus Town. Enjoy your first Friday, kids. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Looking at games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's going to audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Sometimes you don't realize something was bothering you
until it's gone.
That's how you're going to feel
after we work our magic at your house.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official